A lot of monarch butterflies moving through the Chicago area this month. Butterflies are making their annual migration through the Midwest this month and next. Researchers at the migration website Journey North say the monarchs are on their grand exodus from the Great Lakes between now and early November, and they'll make their way all the way to central Mexico. Bears face the Seahawks tonight in their home opener. Monsters of the Midway 0-1 after losing to the Packers in Green Bay in Week 1. Scott Schebler and Phillip Ervin homered as the Reds topped the Cubs 2-1 at Wrigley Field. Chicago still holds a 2.5-game lead over Milwaukee for the NL Central lead. Jonathan Villar, Adam Jones both homered. Orioles beat the White Sox in Baltimore 8-4 in spite of 2 home runs from Daniel Palka, who eventually left that game with an injury. The news, a service of Compassion International, the most effective way to end extreme child poverty. Release a child from poverty when you become a Compassion sponsor. Choose your child now at compassion.com/radio and do your part to release a child from poverty today. 5:07, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018, presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicagoland's retirement expert, on Saturday, October 27th. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Charles Equipment Energy Systems and by The Income Store.
Looking to secure a mortgage? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Abby, millennial, purchasing a home. So her father, Sal, recommended she secure a Team Hochberg approval before speaking with a realtor. Abby naturally consulted with her friends who've never purchased a home before and applied online. Abby called her dad because the online lender wasn't responding to her emails. Sal told her to stop messing around with the online lender and call Team Hochberg, the only lender he trusted to help his daughter. We approved Abby to purchase a home, and Team Hochberg's real estate experts found Abby the perfect home. The internet's great for purchasing socks, shoes, and underpants, not mortgages. When securing a mortgage, you can either waste your time getting terrible service from online lenders, or you can call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com.
Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
If you're in the market for a new vehicle, then now's the time to get one. With the 2019s arriving, you'll find the lowest prices of the year on all our great new 2018s and certified pre-owned Ford models. Get $3,000 off Escapes and Edges and $3,500 off Explorers or 0% for 60 months. $2,000 off Fusion or 0% for 72 months, and $4,000 off Focus or 0% for 60 months. And on select F-150s, get $2,500 off plus 0.9% for 60 months. Come in and see why we're Chicagoland's best Ford buying experience. We've been treating people like family for over 44 years. And for the 5th year running, we're again your favorite Ford dealer. Find out about all the exclusives that make a Ford from Joe Cotton Ford a better value. It's our promise to you. We'll treat you great and save you money. From 3 generations of our family to yours, you have our word on it. At Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com. Through October 1st, all prices plus tax, title, license, and dock fees with approved credit. See dealer for details.
At 5:09 on AM 560, it is time for a dry basement and healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. Chicago's Morning Answer is next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, sunshine and patchy clouds with a high 90, then a clear night tonight, low 70. Very warm and humid tomorrow with sun and clouds. A late afternoon shower or thunderstorm with a high 84. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
And it is 70 at O'Hare, 70 along the lakefront, 65 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, and move over Anita Hill, because now we have Christine Blasey Ford. Remember that name? Christine Blasey Ford.
We'll forget about it by next week.
Well, will we? Confirmation hearing, or the vote's supposed to be taking place this Thursday.
Maybe delayed. Jeff Flake wants it delayed. By the way, my name is Bruce Wolf.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi.
Hi, how
Forget
are you?
my, excuse my manners. I'm lacking manners today because I couldn't sleep last night because of this. For some reason.
Really?
I don't know why, or maybe it's because I was going to see you today, Bruce.
Well, I couldn't sleep because of A, U, and B, that Viking-Packer game. Oh, my goodness. Went into overtime.
Did somebody win as opposed to
Nobody
the
won. They
Steelers-Browns game? What is this, soccer again? Well, we'll talk
okay.
about that. We'll
Yeah.
also discuss when you're going to Vontae Davis me and walk out.
Right?
Maybe around the 7 a.m. hour?
Right when
You'll just decide to leave?
When Chet Kopic comes on, I'm walking out. He's
Well-
a guest of ours today.
Oh, he is. He'll be here at 7:35. Oh, great show. Keith Conrad, our executive producer, really outdid himself. We have Ken Starr here.
Oh, my goodness.
At 8:05. What are you going to wear? I was going to change into my blue dress.
I was going to say, I did not have sex
And
with
then
that woman.
the former New York PD, the New York commissioner, is going to be here as well.
What are we going to
Police
talk to him
commissioner.
about?
He's got a new book, and he's always got something to say. He'll make news. Okay.
I thought we were going to go Christine
No,
all the time.
24. Oh, the whole time? No, not the whole
Move
time.
over, Florence.
here's the
Christine's taking over the front page. It's a cat fight between Christine and Florence now.
But what about Maria?
How do you solve a problem like Maria? There was that whole dispute, too, over the number of deaths.
All right, so here's what happened. Christine Blasey Ford wrote a confidential letter to Senator Democratic lawmaker alleging that Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her more than 3 decades ago, about 32 years ago. So they were at this
35, I think.
35. All right, you do the math. They were high school.
Although she doesn't know.
They were high school students in suburban Maryland, and she said that she went upstairs to go to the bathroom, and that's when she got cornered into a room by Kavanaugh and his friend, whose last name is Judge. She said that basically he pinned her down. He was stumbling drunk and clumsily attempted to pull off her one-piece bathing suit and the clothing she wore over it. She tried to scream, she said, but then he put his hand over her mouth. And that's when she said, quote, "I thought he might inadvertently kill me. He was trying to attack me and remove my clothing." Ford said she was able to escape when Kavanaugh's friend and classmate at Georgetown Preparatory School, Mark Judge, jumped on top of them, sending all 3 of them tumbling. She said she ran from the room, briefly locked herself in the bathroom, and then fled the house. It's a detailed article. She went on to say that she does not remember whose house she was at and how she got to the home or how she got home.
Uh-oh, I see your eyes squinting over that. Let the record show.
Well, if I was, attacked ever in my life, no matter what stage of my life it was in, I would remember where I was. Yeah. Even, we had that woman on who was kidnapped and sexually assaulted. She knew where she was. She was in a Browns Trans Am that had she was aware of her surroundings.
Usually with a traumatic event, you remember all the little details. Like, for me, the biggest trauma was seeing The Exorcist.
Uh-huh.
And I remember what I was wearing that day, this red checked shirt. But so you think you remember where and when it was. Also, afterwards, you usually, she said she didn't tell a therapist for, till 2012. I understand not going to a therapist for a number of years because a lot of times these things don't kick in for a number of decades. But you usually tell a friend.
Right,
that
and she
something
didn't
happened,
go to
and
that.
She didn't tell a friend.
But she also didn't go to that house party, or it was the 3 of them, whatever, with any girlfriends. And I found that strange. But what she did do, well, her therapist did take notes, and
Yes.
the therapist notes that she handed over to the Washington Post, which I would never want my therapist to take notes of any
You have a
of my
therapist?
sessions. Well, I
What,
used
are you
to. I still
crazy?
do. Well, we're all crazy.
Tell me about it.
Oh,
baby.
please. But when your therapist starts taking notes. Isn't that when you change therapists? But
Why?
anyway, so she
Well,
had the
what,
notes,
can't
but
a
she
therapist take notes?
she didn't.
What's the yellow
I've
legal pad
never,
for?
ever seen a therapist taking notes, ever in my life. Maybe they do after you leave, but not in my presence. No way.
Well, they've got to. They get bored and their eyes roll up in their head and they start sketching things.
In the therapist's notes, there's no mention ever of the name Kavanaugh. However, her husband has come forward saying that she remembers during one of the sessions that she mentioned his name, Kavanaugh.
Of course, but that's her husband. Here's the thing. The therapist is not a news reporter. The therapist is taking down what he or she finds relevant. Maybe she didn't say the name or the name wasn't relevant. I see people like David French, who's going to be a guest on this show tomorrow, and he's a National Review writer and a lawyer, and I respect a lot of what he says. But he makes a big deal out of the fact that the notes seem contradictory, and they're not really. I think they can be reconciled. It's you don't have one of the facts is when she talked to the therapist 6 years ago was according to the therapist there were 4 boys there. She says there were 4 boys at the party total, only 2 in the room. So I mean the therapist is taking little chicken scratch notes that are relevant to him or her. It's not for a report on the evening news later. So that doesn't bother me so much. I don't see anything contradictory there. What does bother me is that she didn't tell somebody, as you mentioned, she doesn't remember where or when it was. This was such a traumatic event. Usually you would remember that.
Well,
and she didn't tell anybody else.
Was it track housing? Was it a mansion? Was it, in the nice side of town? Was it in the, middle class side of town? Anything.
It leads me
she
to
was
believe
hanging
that
out with
maybe
kids
she was
from
drunk too.
Well, no, she was.
She didn't say she was drunk. She said she had 1 beer.
Okay.
She says 1 beer.
1 beer.
Yeah.
She also took a lie detector test.
Who gave her the lie detector?
She went with a reporter from the Washington Post.
Yep. No, but who gave the lie detector?
I don't know who administered.
Somewhere I
No,
read
I
that
know.
it was somebody who was associated with the Clinton administration. I'm not sure about that. But what was the question that was asked in the lie detector test, and why aren't lie detector tests admissible in court?
Well, Christine Ford's a professor at Palo Alto University. She's a published professor. She passed she's a person of the community there, and
she's also a liberal and Democrats and donates to Democratic causes.
But this doesn't feel right for me. This does not sit well. I think that Kavanaugh's in trouble. No,
I think he's in trouble too. Now,
and here's the thing: they only need 1 Republican to have a no vote, just 1, and all of a sudden you've got Bob Corker and Jeff Flake who want to have phone discussions with her.
It may not
and
get
with
out of
Kavanaugh.
committee. It's an 11-10 vote right now. It may not get out of committee. Jeff Flake wants hearings. I mean, I don't know what hearings are going to do or what a discussion is.
Well,
going to
this
do
is
with
what's
her
happening
right now.
today. They're arranging staff phone calls with her and with Kavanaugh. So the big question is a Kavanaugh nomination in jeopardy? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. One reporter was able to catch up with Lisa Murkowski at the airport last night.
If there are more questions that need to be asked and answered, then I think it would be appropriate to allow for that time.
Can I ask the threshold question?
Sure.
This happened when he was 17 years old,
and she was 15.
And I know that and he was drunk, and it may be that he doesn't honestly remember it happening because he was stumbling drunk at the time, and his friend doesn't remember it either, and it may have actually happened. But even assuming arguendo that it did happen, I mean, he's 17 years old. What if he's lived a good life for the last 35 years? So we're going to condemn people because of that? Norm Macdonald.
Well, is it a youthful discretion?
Norm Macdonald.
Youthful indiscretion, excuse me.
Either one. Norm Macdonald last week got into trouble because he said, you can't even apologize nowadays because you're doomed if you apologize. So you got to deny. You've got to lie. I mean, and in a sense, Kavanaugh would have to continue to lie because he's had like 5 FBI checks over the years. So he's obviously, if it was truthful and he wants to apologize, he can't because he lied to the FBI over all those times. Because they obviously cover, did you ever do anything bad? And he said no. And when he did. So
your phone call's coming up, 312-642-5600.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are customers passing you by because it's a major hassle to park in your lot? Convenient and safe parking may be one of the most overlooked aspects of your business. You've neglected your parking lot for way too many years. It's falling apart and could be scaring business away. Pavement Solutions can get your parking lot in shape. With proper care, you can extend the life of your current lot with Pavement Solutions' certified specialty blend product called GemSeal Black Diamond Enduramax. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but the best seal coat product in the industry. It'll protect your lot from sub-zero temperatures to a scorching 110-degree sun and features an abrasive, non-slip coat for safety and durability. With Enduramax, your lot will have that brand new feel and look at a fraction of the price of a new lot. You and your customers will be safe, and your business will look great. For parking lot repairs to snow removal, go to fixmylots.org. That's fixmylots.org. And get a free estimate. Plus, learn about getting 5% off your next job from Pavement Solutions.
When the need for senior care arises, there's no place like home. Your loved ones should never have to give up living at home. Visiting Angels will provide home care for your mom or dad at home up to 24 hours per day, including personal care, meals, and light housework. You'll select your professional caregiver with Visiting Angels. Look up visitingangels.com or call 877-374-LIVE. That's 877-374-LIVE. Franchises are available. Visiting Angels, America's choice in senior home care.
What do you hear? Most people just hear an engine. We hear a 6.2-liter Hemi V8 with a supercharger that accelerates so fast, it'll suck the air out of your lungs and knock you back in your seat like you're an astronaut in a rocket ship hurtling through the stratosphere. But then again, we're not most people. We're the Brotherhood of Muscle. Dodge. Domestic, not domesticated. Dodge is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Hey, Mom. The funeral home called. They want their drapes back.
Oh, you're a funny one. What are you trying to say?
I love your home, but I think you need to update this house. It's time.
I would love that, but I just don't have time to be traipsing all over Chicagoland looking for new window treatments.
Let's call them window coverings, and I have just a solution. Call 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO. They bring the store to you.
Give your home an easy and affordable makeover. 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO knows window coverings. They know blinds, shades, shutters, and precise installation. But they really know how to make your family home a comfortable place and for a lot less than you'd expect for custom window coverings. New blinds or shades can help with heat reduction, privacy, and make you fall in love with your home all over again. With an in-house installation crew, you can count on a personal touch and quality custom blinds with 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO. Connect directly at 1-800-4BLINDCHICAGO.com. That's 1-800-4BLINDSCHICAGO.com.
Hey, if you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, then dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Hey, Sean Hannity here. So what are you waiting for? Find out now if implants are for you. Successful implants don't come from an implant factory. Skill, treatment, installation, those are the main differences for successful lifelong implants. That's why you need to see Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Neruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants themselves. You need the experience, the skill, and honesty that over 25 years of dental implants brings, and you're going to be happy with your implant. It's not a mass production procedure because everyone is different. And Dr. Neruzzi wants to talk to you about dental implants today.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics at 630-232-7400. They're online at implantsforme.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right. I do have to tell you that the lie detector test, this is where it came from. So she engaged Deborah Katz. She's a Washington lawyer, and she's worked on sexual harassment cases. And Katz said, take a polygraph test. So Ford took a polygraph test administered by a former FBI agent.
Sure.
And that happened in
Associated
August.
with whom? I mean, who, was the FBI
So the
we know is
results,
compromised.
which Katz provided to the Washington Post, concluded that Ford was being truthful when she said a statement summarizing her allegations was accurate.
But interesting, listen to that question. How about, did it happen? Wasn't the question. I mean,
I'm sure something happened to this woman, but was it Kavanaugh and his friend? His friend Mark Judge.
Not
who he
Mike
was-
Judge, who
who
came
was
up with King of the Hill.
Stumbling drunk with, and who was allegedly watching this before piling on. And then they all three stumbled out the door and went their merry ways. He's a recovering alcoholic. He wrote a book about it.
Right, called God and Man at Georgetown Prep, which, of course, is a play on William F. Buckley's God and Man
William
at
F.
Yale.
Buckley. A moment of silence for William F. Buckley.
Do you know that Dan actually had dinner with William F. Buckley?
Here we go. Okay, let's take your phone calls.
you know that?
312-642-5600. Let's go to Robert, who joins us from Oak Brook. Good morning, Robert. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Amy, you mentioned something that's crucial. Did you say she was 15 at the time?
Yes, she was.
Underage.
And he was 17.
Okay, well, no. So, and again, we have to go, we were talking 1984. So go all the way back to when you were 15 and you were at a party, and I'm sure you might have been, and your parents said, how many beers did you have? And you said, I only had one.
She's lying about how many beers she had.
Oh, that's right. The old I only had one excuse.
But she's
Well,
lying.
no.
One
Hey.
means five.
Well,
Well,
that's
no,
with
no.
sex partners for women, right? Go ahead.
I'm just what I'm saying is I'm sure something crucially happened to this woman, and it's been buried somehow. But there's too many questions. One, why didn't you bring this out when he was going to become a regular federal judge? Why didn't you bring it out? Okay, so now in 2012, now it comes out. There's just and it's going to be he said, she said type of situation. But there's got to be money behind this.
Why? There doesn't have to be money.
I don't
Robert,
think so.
You're
All
so
right.
suspicious.
Well, here's the thing. She came out to the Washington Post. They've been working on her to try to tell her to have her come forward. And she had a reporter from BuzzFeed in front of her house, and she said she just decided that she wants to own this story because it was her identity was leaking. Thanks, Robert, for the phone call. So that's
Interesting
why
thing,
she came forward. But I know Senator Grassley even said he's questioning the timing of this.
Well, here, John Podhoretz made an interesting comment yesterday on Twitter. He looks at the culture of the time, and if you watch Revenge of the Nerds, which is out at around that time, there was a relationship between the characters Louis and Betty, which is similar to what happens here, only that was considered raunchy fun. Our mores have changed right now. We're in the Me Too moment, and everything, we look at things through a much more jaundiced eye than we did back then. So, I mean, you have to take that into account, too, how different we look at things.
Well, and then in the New Yorker report, they said that he covered her mouth so she couldn't cry out and that he and another male had turned up the music so no one could hear what was going on.
Now, but here's one thing. Why does Judge jump on the pile? It has a prankish quality to it, as Ala Pundit noted. So it's not necessarily, it's all how you cast it and how you view the situation.
He's grinding his body against mine and clumsily attempting to
and he's
pull off her one-piece
stumbling
bathing
drunk,
suit.
and he's out of it, and they're practically blacking out. I mean, that's how bad it is.
Let's go to Mark, who joins us from the South Side. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. Well, my initial response was going to be about the polygraph, but since you mentioned that, my next thought is this is a carbon copy of what they did in Alabama with Moore. What's the difference between
Except Roy Moore
Alabama
was definitely
and
guilty.
it worked in Alabama.
Yeah, but
why
Roy
not
Moore was
try it now?
guilty. Roy Moore was guilty.
Roy Moore
He
had
did it.
multiple accusers.
He did it.
This is just one
He
woman
absolutely did it.
claiming something that happened when she was 15 years old and he was
Now,
17 years
we'll
old.
see if there are. It would be
Thanks,
strong
Mark, for
evidence
the
if
phone
there's
call.
somebody else over the years. But it goes back to my threshold question. He was 17 at the time, and he's lived an exemplary life since then. It's Norm Macdonald said, you can't apologize for an indiscretion or something bad when you were some kind of crazy teenager. You are condemned for life.
Well, both
because of
men deny that this ever happened.
Well, they could have been drunk and don't even remember. Judge says in his latest iteration said he has no recollection of this. Saying no recollection means you don't remember it happening. I mean, you should just flat out say it did not happen.
Well, why don't they just say she's pinpointing the wrong guys? I mean,
Well,
are there
they
other
did-
prep school kids around in suburban Maryland at that time?
I mean, I think it's a plausible story that she has. I mean, the biggest hole is that she didn't tell anybody about it. Forget the therapist at the time, and she doesn't remember where and when it was. And you think for a trauma, you'd remember that.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we'll be talking about this all morning long. Plus, President Trump plans on visiting survivors of Hurricane Florence. Considering what he said in Puerto Rico, shouldn't he just stay in D.C.? But now let's go into the newsroom and catch up on everything. Here is Mike Scott.
69 degrees at 5:31 on AM 560. The Answer. The storm that was Hurricane Florence is now only a tropical depression, but it's expected to pour out even more rain, up to 3 feet of rain, before it leaves the Carolinas. Reporter Mariana Atencio says rivers near Wilmington will take days to crest.
The Cape Fear River, it's expected to crest a Tuesday morning. There's nowhere for this water to go. The water behind me expected to crest on Friday.
Horry County Chairman Mark Lazarus says the Carolinas are preparing for the worst.
We're planning for potentially critical flooding situation that could cut off our area to the rest of the state for weeks. And we have a responsibility to our citizens, all of our citizens, to make informed decisions that benefit everyone.
The National Hurricane Center says the storm will continue to spread catastrophic and historic flooding for days. Florence is already blamed for 17 deaths. A Philippines mayor says it's unlikely that any of the dozens buried after a huge landslide set off by the typhoon roaring through the South Pacific will be found alive. Although rescuers were still digging through the massive mound of mud and debris. Meantime, that typhoon continues to batter the South China coast near Hong Kong. Top Senate Democrats want the Judiciary Committee to delay a confirmation vote on Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. The committee is scheduled to vote Thursday. A Palo Alto University professor claims Kavanaugh held her down and groped her when they were in high school in 1982. Wyoming wildlife officials say they had to kill 2 grizzly bears that killed a hunting guide near Yellowstone and Grand Teton National Parks. Mother bear and her cub were put down after reportedly killing Mark Uptain and injuring his client on Friday. No one is hurt following a shooting this morning on the Dan Ryan Expressway. State police say a vehicle sustained damage after shots were fired last night in the northbound lanes at 79th Street. Opening statements are set to begin later today in the trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke. However, the judge may rule today on whether to move that trial out of Cook County. Bears take on the Seahawks tonight in their home opener. Reds top the Cubs 2-1 at Wrigley Field, and the Orioles beat the White Sox 8-4 in Baltimore. The news is a service of Geico Chicago, and at 5:33, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher will give you information the mainstream media won't.
The Labor Department announced that 203,000 people applied for jobless benefits last week. That is the lowest level since December of 1969. Can I repeat that? The lowest level since December of 1969.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Wow, we've been doing a lot of roofs.
And we're ready to do yours. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson from Crumweedy. Okay, say it. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. Remember that when you need repair or when you need a new roof.
It's so important to choose your roofing company wisely.
Here's our pitch.
Installation. It's the ball game.
We follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact. Most roofing companies don't do that.
When we give you a quote, we give you good, better, and best options. You decide.
And we're not going anywhere.
We're a third-generation family business. 65 years of doing great roofs.
We run the company on good, conservative values.
For any roofing problem or need, call your roofing guys, Crumweedy.
Do we have any special offers? Sure. Just ask. We'll take care of you.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com.
When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
if you have pain, listen up, Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
5:36 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Stevenson Expressway traffic is slow from Lamont Road to Cass, Cicero to Kedzie, and from Damon to the Ryan. It's 40 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Up on 534. No delays to report on Edens. Up on Kennedy, little congestion near O'Hare. It's heavy now on westbound 190 approaching the Tri-State. About Eisenhower, getting a little congestion east of 25th Avenue. Inbound Ryan, slow Canal Port to Burns Circle. It's 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 15. I-57 is okay. At Bishop Ford, 2 or 3 minute delay from 115th to Stony Island. Tollways are still looking fine. No delays to report on I-80 or Northwest Indiana. Bears traffic tonight around Soldier Field. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny, humid, and with the temperature near the record of 93, we'll be at 90 today. Clear, warm, and humid overnight, low 70, 84 tomorrow, 80 on Wednesday. Still warm on Thursday, a high near 88, and then we tumble to the low 70s or upper 60s for the weekend. 70 right now. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Good Monday morning. Amy Jacobson here. Bruce Wolf filling in for Dan Proft on a very busy news day, of course. The Kavanaugh hearing, his nomination in jeopardy. We'll be talking about that on and off throughout the morning. Ken Starr joins us at 8:05 to talk about Manafort's plea deal and what it means for the Trump or for the Russian investigation.
I already feel like I'm going to be deposed by Ken Starr.
Do you?
I did not have sex with any woman ever.
And of course, today's a big day that another Daley is going to announce that he's running for mayor. It's not enough that we had the dad and the brother. Now we want Bill Daley.
Aren't there any other families than the Clintons, the Bushes, and
the Manigans,
and the Daleys, who are basically the Kennedys without a drowning? I mean,
we'll talk to our good friend Marianne Ahern at 7:05. But the storm is still wreaking havoc in the region. Hurricane Florence. 18 people have died, including a 3-month-old baby who died last night when a tree fell on their mobile home. Here's his mother.
They'd been doing CPR for the last 30 minutes. And they just wanted permission to stop. Said no at first, but after another 30 minutes, he wouldn't come back.
What was she still doing there? Was this the one where the husband wanted to stay there?
No, that was, so we had a 3-month-old just die. That was the 18th victim. On Friday, a mother and her 7-month-old were killed when a tree fell on their house.
And what were they still doing?
In Wilmington, North Carolina. And the firefighters, I don't know if you saw the video, they all took a knee in prayer and were praying because they tried to rescue her. Well, there was water, impending rushing water. The ground was so saturated that all these large trees were just falling over into people's houses.
How do you take a knee when the water's 3 feet
They
deep?
weren't. I said there was no water there. The
there's
water
no
was
water
saturated.
there.
No, that's why they didn't flee. But a lot of people, I kept saying too, they're telling you to get out, but there's a reason why people aren't leaving.
We would go if there was somewhere to go. But if we leave and go to town, we'd be living in our vans.
And water, there's price gouging right now. There was looting on Friday, price gouging for hotels for gasoline, long lines for gasoline. And in the midst of it all, you have this one mayor saying, if you don't leave, you better tell your next of kin.
Well, we have a lot of people that are complying, but we wanted to make sure that they didn't take this lightly and they didn't become complacent by what they saw or could see, because these situations can change quite rapidly. But, yeah, I wanted to make sure that they understood the message loud and clear, that if you decide to stay, please make sure that your next of kin is notified of what your choices are, because if you are in a situation of a life-threatening event, that help may not be available or will not be available.
That's a strong message from Mayor Mitch Colvin. So the water levels are rising. It's still raining in Wilmington, North Carolina. It hasn't stopped since I've seen you on Friday.
But it's now just a severe depression, which I believe is what Christine Ford went into after 2012. Got to tie it all in.
Stop it. Okay. The question is, President Trump is going to make it all better. He's visiting.
Do I hear 25 deaths in Maria?
So
do I hear 3,000?
He tweeted out, when the death toll was at 12, he tweeted out, 5 deaths have been recorded thus far with regard to Hurricane Florence. Deepest sympathies and warmth go out to the families and friends of the victims. May God be with them. But considering what he said about Puerto Rico, do you think he should even go visit the survivors of Hurricane Florence? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey Pro answer line. 646
is this a yes or no question?
Type in D8, then a quick comment. Well, he was denying the death toll in Puerto Rico from Hurricane Maria.
You know what? I remember on Friday when we were criticizing him, and even Brett Baird joined in and saying, why is he talking like this when the studies show? Well, actually, he may be on to something. This George Washington University study that said that there were 3,000 deaths, what it does is it uses a new methodology. It takes into account the people who supposedly left the island and how many of those supposedly died to add to the total. But the problem is,
what's the problem?
As Julie Kelly notes in American Greatness, local gal, Julie Kelly from Orland Park, she notes that, first of all, they never used this methodology before, but secondly, nobody really knows how many people left the island. The estimates were that 300,000 people left the island. There's really not definitive documentation on that.
The relatives I have there through marriage left the island.
What about the ones not through marriage?
Came back.
How about the ones on your side?
Well, here's the thing. Brock Long, director of FEMA,
heck of a job, Brocky.
Is with you.
One thing about President Trump is that he is probably the one president that has had more support for what goes on back here. And I think he's defensive because he knows how hard these guys behind me work day in and day out for a very complex situation. And it's frustrating. Those studies, the Harvard study was done differently than the George Washington study or this study or that study, and the numbers are all over the place.
But he tweeted out that Democrats screwed with the numbers to make him look bad. And that's exactly what Chuck Todd asked him yesterday on Meet the Press.
I mean, he said Democrats did it to make him look bad. Do you believe any of these studies were done to make the president look bad?
Well, I mean, I don't think the studies, I don't know why the studies were done. I mean, I think what we're trying to do, in my opinion, what we've got to do is figure out why people die from direct deaths, which is the wind, the water, and the waves, buildings collapsing, which is probably where the 65 number came from. And then there's indirect deaths. So the George Washington study looked at what happened 6 months after the fact. And, what happens is, and even in this event, you might see more deaths indirectly occur as time goes on because people have heart attacks due to stress. They fall off their house trying to fix their roof. They die in car crashes because they went through an intersection where the stoplights weren't working.
And they factored all of that into their study.
Well, and they don't necessarily, then it went into like January and February after the hurricane, which happened in September. And normally they don't go into those months. But so what? I mean, it's only Trump who's such a narcissistic twit that he's got.
You voted for him,
and I'll vote for him again. I mean, because he's given me Brett Kavanaugh, maybe.
Well, but Gorsuch, we've got that at least.
Yeah,
we'll
I
always
need more
have Gorsuch and his lovely wife Louise sitting behind him in the confirmation hearing.
That you know the wives' names. Here,
she was there. They were so cute. They couldn't stop touching each other.
Here's the thing. Remember when the Never Trumpers on our side said, "Oh, you can't trust Trump." Because he's not even going to come through with the Supreme Court nominees. Well, he's come through. Okay.
And notice
and
this
if Kavanaugh
morning-
doesn't, we're going to give you Amy Coney Barrett, and we're going to shove the reversal of Roe versus Wade down your throat, Democrats. Sorry.
No, I'm lost. Wow. Okay.
Stop the show. Amy's lost.
I'm lost. I'm going
Okay.
to Vontae
No, but anyway,
Davis,
whoever
you.
this FEMA head is, Kelly LeBrock, or
His name is Brock Long.
Kathy Brock.
And he looks like a
Anyway,
Brock Long.
first-
I'm Brock Long.
Yeah, and
I'm in
he's
charge.
He's got a Southern accent, so I don't trust him anyway. But what he says is true.
Hey.
It's true. It's true that you can't count all these different things that you counted before. But the problem is it's okay. Maybe it wasn't 3,000 who died. Maybe it's 2,000. Why Trump has to be so sensitive about it and hurt himself with women? Okay, because that's what he does when he tweets like this. You know that Trump 62. It's like a 62-27 split among
Right.
women. Men favor him 50-42. But we're going to lose the House because of Trump's alienation of suburban women. Now, getting back to Christine Ford stuff, everybody's saying, "Oh, hey, if they don't get rid of Brett Kavanaugh, it's going to hurt the Republicans with women." I don't think the Republicans are going to be hurt any more than they already are with women. So go for it. Double down on Brett Kavanaugh.
312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro answer line. What do you think should President Trump visit survivors of Hurricane Florence, and what do you think about the numbers? Let's go to John, who joins us from Portage Park. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Amy. I just wanted to know if they changed the numbers on the World Trade Towers was around 3,000, if I'm correct. I think about that much have died since then from the cleanup. And why don't they change that number?
Yeah, a lot from mesothelioma and getting in the lungs. And thank you.
Hey, is it true that?
Thank you.
Remember, Amy, after 9/11, that a lot of these firefighters, these first responders, like left their wives and took up with the wives of their fallen comrades? Did that actually happen? I think it was a phenomenon that actually did occur.
Are you a chick? I think Keith died a little inside right now. That's our executive producer. Let's go to Scott.
Am I a chick?
Yeah, let's go to Scott, who joins us from the West Side. Hi,
Good
Scott.
morning, Bruce and Amy. You two are both Trump haters, and I don't think that you should ever be together on the show again.
Wait a minute,
because
Scott.
of that.
Scott, I demur.
The numbers from the hurricane from Puerto Rico were totally fabricated and made up and based on computer models, the same computer models that they use for global warming. And they're just inaccurate. And Trump needs to set the record straight, and I approve of his tweets that he's doing it because people need to know the truth.
Scott, can I ask you a question?
The real question should be is why was this study done? What was the purpose of the study? The purpose of the study was to make Trump look bad. That was it.
I believe there's some truth to that, Scott.
Scott, can I
do.
ask you a question? Are you A, an expert on global warming, and B, an expert on methodologies used to determine the number of deaths from a hurricane? Are you an expert?
Yes, I am, Bruce.
Okay, then
And
that's
here,
enough.
Let me
That's
give
good
you my
enough for
expert
me.
opinion on global warming. It doesn't exist.
All right, thanks, Scott, for
Thank
the
you,
phone
Scott.
call. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Coming up next, fake news. The Weather Channel kind of stepped in it. We'll explain.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Picture your son in 10 years. What kind of man do you hope to see? I know you want your son to be a man of character. It's Dan Proft, and I urge you to consider Northridge Prep, the #1 all-boys school in Illinois for 2 years running. Don't miss their fall open house on Sunday, October 21st. Northridge Prep is an independent Catholic school for boys in grades 6 through 12, located in Niles. There's no brainwashing that's prevalent elsewhere. They instill the traditional values that you hold as parents. Northridge Prep is all boys with an all-male faculty. They celebrate your son's natural enthusiasm and energy. It's a good place to be a boy. Every teacher is a great role model who gets to the hearts of their students. Their demanding liberal arts curriculum produces well-rounded men with the ability to think for themselves. Grads go on to the best universities, including the Ivy League, and have top athletics and arts programs. I strongly encourage you to attend Northridge Prep's open house on October 21st. To learn more, visit northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org. AmericanHeart.org.
Right now, are you sitting in your home afraid to go out in public? Afraid to be seen in a restaurant? Afraid to talk or smile knowing those dentures will fall out at any minute? I'm Dr. Howard Cooper from Excellence in Dentistry, and we can handle all your worries. We have a complete in-house denture lab, and we're here to help you smile and eat with all the confidence again. Every day I see folks like Mary, whose family didn't know where else to turn. Mary's been losing weight and wouldn't eat with her ill-fitting dentures. After talking with Mary, we realized that not only did her denture not fit well, but she hated the way it made her look. We fabricated a new denture that day, and we designed it with Mary's concerns in mind. The smile on her face when we finished conveyed the greatest feeling of all. Mary not only looked beautiful, but she was happy and couldn't wait to get downstairs and hit the restaurant. Mary is happy and her family is happy. That's what we do for our patients. We change their lives. Call us at 847-244-4000 for your free consultation. Don't hide in your house any longer. Enjoy your summer with a new smile and a new outlook on life. Again, call us at 847-244-4000. We are located in Gurnee at Washington and 21 in Saratoga Square. Excellence in Dentistry, creating excellence one smile at a time.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Producing quality agitprop is a team effort, so it's nice to see the Democrat Socialists rally for the Obamas to help them consummate their $50 million Netflix production deal. The lineup really assembles itself. Cory Booker will star in a remake of Spartacus, only this time Spartacus is the wealthy senator, and he only thinks he's a slave. He runs around Capitol Hill yelling, "I am Spartacus," with no one else echoing the sentiment. Kamala Harris will play the lead in the spin-off How to Get Away with Murdering the Legal Canons. The Ripped from the Headline season premiere will feature a bizarre temper tantrum masquerading as an interrogation of a SCOTUS nominee. Rahm Emanuel is scheduled to reprise the role of Abby Lee Miller from the Lifetime hit Dance Moms. The Emanuel version will be entitled Tiny Dancer Moms. Chris and Andrew Cuomo will play conjoined twins in the long-awaited sequel to Stuck on You. Other shows under consideration: Brian Williams as a bomb tech in a remake of The Hurt Locker, Rachel Maddow as Katie Lang in the biopic Crying, and Elizabeth Warren as Henry Fonda playing Tom Joad in a stirring interpretation of John Steinbeck's Grapes of Wrath. It's a lineup that's binge and purge worthy.
Coins and currency are full of history. Coins and currency are fun to look at. Coins and currency can be great investments and a great hobby too. Here's your opportunity to see one of the largest coin shows in the nation, and it's free. Make plans now to attend the 59th Coin and Currency Show, presented by the Illinois Numismatic Association. The show is at Mega Center at the Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, September 20th through the 22nd. Admission and parking are free. Just bring your photo ID. Hundreds of dealers, the best from all over the country. See displays valued at millions of dollars, U.S. and world paper money, gold and silver bullion, and a lot more. This is a show for the whole family. Ask about the kids auction, collectors, investors, or if you just want to find out more about coins, currency, and collectibles, this show is a can't miss. The 59th Coin and Currency Show, presented by the Illinois Numismatic Association, this Thursday through Saturday, September 20th through the 22nd, at the Mega Center at Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles. Admission and parking are free with your photo ID. Get more information at ilnaclub.org.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please call this toll-free number right now. 800-390-9528. That's 800-390-9528. By calling your addiction team, you're taking the first steps to recovery. The help you need could be one call away. 800-390-9528. Make the free call now. 800-390-9528. Your addiction team is a third-party advertiser for various treatment centers and placement networks. Individual results will vary. Visit youraddictionteam.com/terms for more information.
You need to take responsibility and stop snoring. Go to Zyppah.com, that's ZYPPAH.com, get a Zyppah and stop snoring. It's time to go get your Zyppah. It's now available on Amazon.com. Go to Zyppah.com, get a Zyppah, and stop snoring. And remember, let's make sleeping great again. Go to www.Zyppah.com, that's ZYPPAH.com. Zyppah is now available on Amazon.com.
Famous Winston Churchill quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Winston Churchill once stated, "The main vice of capitalism is the uneven distribution of prosperity. The main vice of socialism is the even distribution of misery."
It's important we support companies that share our conservative values. If you are a manufacturer, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. As a software and systems integration company, Automated Systems creates custom solutions to make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. It doesn't matter if you're a Fortune 500 or a startup, Automated Systems delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you, man, to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIGHER-ASI.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, so I'm a sucker for weather coverage. I love watching reporters and hurricanes. I'll admit it. Sometimes, we even said this on Friday. You wish a 2x4 would come off and level a reporter, just hit him in the face,
Or just, like a stray straw that's going like 100 miles an hour and just impale them right in the throat.
Yeah, and then Ginger Z, our girlfriend on Good Morning America, she was, right there.
Former colleague of ours.
Yes, but she was right there in the eye of the storm, and some floorboards were popping up, right?
Yeah, and people were criticizing her, like, you've got a family, what are you doing? And she said, I'm in a safe situation. So.
And her first love is weather. That's her first baby. Okay.
Well, you got to make priorities.
Yeah, and the Weather Channel this morning is standing firm, backing a reporter who seemed on the brink of getting blown away. His name's Mike Siddell, and you can hear it for yourself and just imagine him. He's bracing, fighting against the wind, just trying to maintain his footing on wet grass.
Okay, picking it up here in Wilmington, North Carolina, right at the Intracoastal, and we're in one of these bands. This is about as nasty as it's been. We had some bands like this last night, and then the eye wall this morning. We were not on TV. It was a dark and raucous night at the hotel.
Oh, it's a dark and raucous night.
It's horrible. But what was happening behind him?
Well, that's funny you should ask, because two boys in shorts walked with ease. There's no struggle. Walking behind him like, hey, where do you want to go for lunch? Oh, I don't know. Where do you want to do? Yeah. And it is the funniest thing, because he's, in the
right. He's bracing himself.
Bracing like he's going to.
He's at a 45-degree angle. They're just sashaying behind him. But there was a defense presented by the Weather Channel, which is a horrible defense.
Well, they had an explanation. They said, quote, "It's important to note that the two individuals in the background are walking on concrete, and Mike Siddell is trying to maintain his footing on wet grass."
I'm walking on
after
sunshine.
Reporting on air until 1 a.m. this morning, and it's undoubtedly exhausted. So he was exhausted and on wet grass.
So in other words, he was just falling asleep. That's why he was at a 45-degree
And they said,
angle.
sometimes, you check out Mike's pants, you do see pretty strong gusts. So the gusts were 28 to 45 miles per hour. But that's 45 miles per hour. That's child's play in Chicago.
Well, it's a 4-club wind. I mean, it's pretty difficult. But yeah, it does look like there's a wind machine on him.
Right.
And the guys behind him, there's nothing. So maybe, is that like a microburst of wind right there? I don't know.
And now here's Ollie Williams with the Blackie weather forecast. Ollie?
It's gonna rain!
Thanks, Ollie.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Are you going to allow the government to take your home? Mike S. in Naperville isn't.
At our earliest possible convenience, we're moving out of the state of Illinois.
Neither is Russell O. in Des Plaines.
I'm selling my home and going someplace that I can live without being taxed out of my property.
Illinois has the highest property taxes in the nation. It is a slow-motion government seizure of your home.
My investment in my home was a bad investment.
Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, you will not be spared the financial disaster the highest property taxes in the nation inflict. The good news is there's a group of independent candidates who aren't financed by Madigan or Rauner. They're working people taking up our fight to lower your property taxes. They made a life in Illinois, and the hell if they're going to let politicians take it away. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org for information on the candidates leading the revolt. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to hear your neighbors' stories and share your own. SaveYourHomeNow.org isn't just a website, it's a battle cry.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the big story of the day, Kavanaugh's accuser speaks. Will it, should it affect his nomination to the Supreme Court?
And a good guy with a gun stops a man who shot a Cicero police officer.
And later, what one Arizona man did to get his diaper changed at a restaurant. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Catch up with everything from around the world and here at home. Here is Mike Scott.
Shots fired on the Dan Ryan. A person seriously hurt in an O'Hare fire and an elderly woman killed in a condo fire in Des Plaines. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Florence keeps raining and the Carolinas could keep flooding. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
This storm has never been more dangerous than it is right now.
Governor Roy Cooper says that flooding threat extends well inland from a storm blamed already for at least 17 deaths. Rivers have overflown, streets and parts of highways underwater, people getting around by boat. Fox's Evan Brown's live in Wilmington.
Yeah, Dave, the message from officials here, stay away from Wilmington.
We want you home, but you can't come yet.
Woody White is the commission chair of New Hanover County, North Carolina.
Do not come. There's no access to Wilmington, and you could be putting yourself in harm's way.
Rising rivers from Florence's rains are forcing more evacuations, and roads like Interstate 40 and US 74 remain waterlogged from weekend rainfall. Authorities are looking into air and water delivery of food and fuel, Dave.
Evan Brett Kavanaugh's accuser tells her story. Christine Blasey Ford claims to the Washington Post the Supreme Court nominee tried to grope her and take off her clothes while drunk at a party during high school in the 1980s, putting his hand over her mouth to silence her, but she ended up getting away. Well, Kavanaugh says that never happened. The White House calls this an 11th hour attempt to block his confirmation. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Senate Judiciary Committee Republican Chair Chuck Grassley is setting up follow-up calls with Judge Kavanaugh and Ford ahead of a Thursday confirmation vote. Democrats are calling for the vote to be postponed. Republican Senator John Kennedy says Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein and Democratic Representative Anna Eshoo knew about the allegations since July.
They've had this stuff for 3 months. If they were serious about it, they should have told us about it.
Arizona Republican Senator Jeff Flake says he's not comfortable voting yes until he hears from Judge Kavanaugh. Dave.
Rachel, a sheriff's deputy's dead, shot outside Wichita while responding to a call about a suspicious person. The gunman was also killed. Fox News, fair and balanced.
This morning we have fair skies. 69 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. No one hurt following a shooting on the Dan Ryan early this morning. Police say a vehicle sustained damage after shots were fired last night in the northbound lanes at 79th. No arrests have been made. Lanes were closed for hours as authorities investigated. Recovery efforts are underway to find a person in the water at Jackson Park Inner Harbor on Chicago's south side. Chicago Fire Department was called out early this morning after the person fell into the water. Divers were searched for over an hour before Chicago police took over. The identity of that person has not yet been released. Opening statements are set to begin in the trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke. The officer is charged with murder in the deadly shooting of Laquan McDonald in 2014. Judge Vincent Gaughan will swear the full jury in, 8 women and 4 men, and also decide whether to move that trial out of Cook County. An elderly woman is dead after a fire severely damaged a condo building in Des Plaines.
I would say the majority of the people living in this building won't be able to go in there.
Fire officials tell us the blaze broke out yesterday morning in the 9300 block of Landings Lane in unincorporated Maine Township. Bears take on the Seahawks tonight in their home opener. Monsters of the Midway are 0-1 after losing to the Packers in Green Bay in Week 1. Reds top the Cubs 2-1 at Wrigley Field. Orioles beat the White Sox 8-4 in Baltimore. The news, a service of Geico Chicagoland. Hey, Chicago, Geico has even more ways to help save you money. Kevin, your local Geico agent, is ready to deliver the personal service you need with the savings you love. Stop by his local Geico office on Cicero Avenue or call 773-582-8888 for Kevin, your local Geico agent. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity explains how important energy production is to the United States.
Don't think now that it's an accident that America is the biggest producer of oil now in the entire world. This has always been the key to American foreign policy success. Why do you think all these years, why have I always pushed energy independence?
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joel Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-597-0315. That's 800-597-0315. 800-597-0315. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Are you going to allow the government to take your home? Mike S. in Naperville isn't.
At our earliest possible convenience, we're moving out of the state of Illinois.
Neither is Russell O. in Des Plaines.
I'm selling my home and going someplace that I can live without being taxed out of my property.
Illinois has the highest property taxes in the nation. It is a slow-motion government seizure of your home.
My investment in my home was a bad investment.
Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, you will not be spared the financial disaster the highest property taxes in the nation inflict. The good news is there's a group of independent candidates who aren't financed by Madigan or Rauner. They're working people taking up our fight to lower your property taxes. They made a life in Illinois, and the hell if they're going to let politicians take it away. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org for information on the candidates leading the revolt. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to hear your neighbors' stories and share your own. SaveYourHomeNow.org isn't just a website, it's a battle cry.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
6:06 on AM 560. We want to update you on a story we told you about earlier in this newscast. Chicago Fire Department has just told us that drowning in Jackson Park Harbor was an off-duty captain of the Chicago Fire Department. Fire crews responding to a call of a person in the water around midnight. Divers did search for around 90 minutes. Man's body was recovered around 5 a.m. this morning. Chicago Fire identify that person is 55-year-old Captain Daryl Moore, who worked in the Beverly neighborhood, and we'll have more on this developing story throughout the morning. Let's get an update on the roads now in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Northbound Veterans Memorial Tollway, it's heavy early this morning. After some overnight road construction, delays are from 75th to the Reagan Tollway, and it's quite a jam in that area. Northbound Tri-State, a little heavy approaching 290. It's about Adams Tollway, it's slow from the Tri-State down to the Kennedy. Those delays continue to foster. 25 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 31. Eden's okay, but eastbound Spur, roadwork slow down from Toll Plaza to Waukegan Road. It's heavy on the inbound Eisenhower starting at Wolf. 38 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Down Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 34. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes, side east to the merge, issue 428. It's traffic, I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Near record-breaking high temperatures today. Very warm and humid with sunshine and patchy clouds, high 90. Clear, warm, and humid through the night, tonight low 70. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
70 at O'Hare, 63 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 6:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Big news day here. Amy Jacobson, Dan Proft is off, and Bruce Wolf is filling in on this day when we learn about Kavanaugh's alleged accuser. She spoke yesterday with the Washington Post, and what she had to say could affect the Supreme Court nomination of Judge Kavanaugh.
Could delay it.
Could delay it. Christine Blasey Ford. Well, could kill it, could delay it. They're supposed to vote on Thursday. Charles Grassley, who's in charge, the senator from Iowa, said that he plans, as of right now, to still take the vote on Thursday. But there's other Republicans, Corker and Flake, who want to talk via the telephone with Christine Blasey Ford and with Kavanaugh himself. Blasey, I'm sorry.
And Murkowski and Collins, of course, aren't going to let this go by without...
The Democrats need to turn one Republican senator. And here's Lisa Murkowski, who made a comment late last night.
If there are more questions that need to be asked and answered, then I think it would be appropriate to allow for that time.
Is the Kavanaugh nomination in jeopardy? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. One person texted, Kavanaugh is toast, so Republicans should go to number 2 on the list immediately.
Amy Coney Barrett will be worse for the Democrats because she's pro-life. And this is what Trump gets for going for an Ivy League guy. He wanted an Ivy League guy, and this is what he gets.
No.
And now he's going to get a Notre Dame grad.
By all accounts, Kavanaugh is a respectable man.
No, apparently not,
liked in
because
his community. No, up until this. So that the 4 days before the vote on Thursday, this Feinstein on Friday sent a letter to the FBI, which, by the way, they're not investigating. They're sitting on this letter. And the woman came forward yesterday because now she wants to tell her story. So this is her story. Back in 1982, she was 15, Kavanaugh was 17. She said that Kavanaugh and his friend forced her into, or they corralled her into a bedroom during a gathering at a teenager's house in Montgomery County, Maryland. While his friend watched, she said, Kavanaugh pinned her to a bed on her back and groped her over her clothes, grinding his body against hers and clumsily attempting to pull off her one-piece bathing suit and the clothing she wore over it. When she tried to scream, she said he put his hand over her mouth. And she said, quote, I thought he might inadvertently kill me. Eventually, his friend, Mark Judge, jumped on top of them, sending all 3 tumbling, she said. And then she ran from the room, briefly locked herself in the bathroom, and then fled the house. Now, all of this came out when she went to marriage counseling back in 2012 with her husband, couples therapy, and the therapist took notes, which were provided by Ford, that she handed over to the Washington Post. Now, the notes did not mention Kavanaugh's name, but say she reported that she was attacked by students from an elitist boys' school, and somebody who went on to become highly respected and high-ranking member of society in Washington. Her husband, Russell Ford, said that during the therapy sessions that he remembers hearing her say Kavanaugh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and there's questions about, what she said, and then, of course, what the therapist took down. The therapist is not a reporter, so I can understand the notes being different. I mean, her story sounds plausible. My suggestion is that Kavanaugh, he may be telling the truth that it didn't happen because he was supposedly, according to her, stumbling drunk. So he might not actually remember that it happened, and Judge wouldn't remember it either.
He vehemently denies this ever happened, and says his friend Mark Judge. And then on Friday, a group of women who knew Brett in high school sent a letter of support to Senator Grassley and Feinstein.
Which is irrelevant. It doesn't
matter.
Well,
say, 65 women saying that he's an outstanding man. We knew Brett in high school, and he was respectful then as he is now.
Yeah, that's nice. And it's important that there be no subsequent acts, and if there aren't any, it's going to be redound to his benefit. My suggestion, though, is that if it did happen, I would just simply lie about it and say that it didn't. Just like I think Clarence Thomas was probably lying too. But remember, Elena Kagan, who now sits on the Supreme Court of the United States, absolutely, positively lied during her hearings to become Solicitor General when she said that she did not find a federal right to gay marriage. And, of course, just a couple of years later, the circumstances not having changed at all, she voted in favor of gay marriage. So she's a freaking liar.
How this
Elena
all started,
Kagan.
Okay, let's stay focused. How this all started is Christine Blasey. Blasey, am I getting her middle name right?
Blasey.
Let's just call her Christine Ford.
Yeah.
Wrote, contacted the Washington Post on their tip line, and they've been trying to work her. But she said she didn't want, the attention.
Of course she didn't.
Yeah, and now she has the attention. She's well respected in her community, a published professor at Palo Alto University, and also does some work at Stanford. And she, even in August, talked to an attorney who's known for sexual harassment cases, Deborah Katz. And Katz believed Ford, but she took a polygraph test administered by a former FBI agent, and the results provided to the Post concluded that Ford was being truthful when she talked about what happened to her and who did it to her. Is it possible, Bruce, that there were 2 other guys from other prep school that might have done this to this woman?
Always a possibility, but I doubt. I mean, her story sounds plausible to me, but it's interesting because even never Trumpers who are always looking for a way to get Trump, guy like Tom Nichols, I don't know if you follow him, Charlie Sykes, these guys are having trouble hanging Brett Kavanaugh on the basis of something that he did when he was 17 years old, especially
youthful indiscretion,
especially if there's no subsequent deleterious actions. I mean,
I love deleterious actions. That was the name of my junior high band. But here's the thing. He categorically, denies. He said, I categorically and unequivocally deny this allegation. I did not do this back in high school or at any time. And the classmate, Mark Judge, says he has no recollection of that. 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA. Then a quick comment. My only point of contention with this whole thing, because I did something stupid in high school when I was 15 and let stupid things happen to me. And I remember exactly where I was. I remember whose house I was in. I remember how I got there, and I remember how I got home. So her saying that
Traumatic
she doesn't
events.
remember whose house it was,
Yeah.
she doesn't remember how she got there, she doesn't remember how she got home, that's not sitting well with me.
Yeah.
Let's go to Bob, who joins us from Waukegan. Good morning, Bob. How are you?
I'm okay. This is a bunch of hooky. The Democrats will do anything they possibly can to derail a good guy. If you go back in any of our histories to when we were 14 to 18 years old, you will find that every one of us screwed up and did something stupid. But we are not the same person now that we were then. I think we should just take, right now we should go ahead with the nomination, and then we should take background checks on every congressman and senator and have every high school girl they ever dated or every high school guy they ever dated come forward and give us all the information. And if something is hairy, they should all resign.
Hey, Bob, what about Keith Ellison? What about Keith Ellison? There's documented evidence that
he pinned his
girlfriend
girlfriend to the bed.
There's nothing that happens to him.
I'm not talking about Keith Ellison. He's a left-wing nut job from the get-go. Something ought to happen to him. But to bring this up at the last hour when they had all the information months ago is bull hockey. This is the Democrats always do this crap.
Thanks, Bob. You know what? I was wondering, sorry for cutting you off, but we got to move on to other callers. I was wondering, too, could this woman be a Democratic plant? Was Anita Hill
doubt it.
a Democratic plant?
I doubt it.
To try and, derail Charles Thomas's nomination? Remember that? I mean,
or even
Anita Hill has
Clarence's.
been replaced now.
Here's the thing. I mean, I'll take the Occam's razor approach. I mean, the simplest explanation is it's true. But, yeah, as Grassley notes, Dianne Feinstein had ample opportunity since July. There were so many hearings, so many procedures in which she could have brought this up and did not bring this up if it was so relevant, it was so important. But they didn't because, it's a Hail Mary, and it may work.
Well, Anita Hill, law professor at University of Oklahoma, she was credible. I don't know if you believed her or not. And this woman's a professor at Palo Alto, published. She also works at Stanford.
You know who was more credible than Anita Hill? The evidence is overwhelmingly better for this case than Anita Hill. Juanita Broaddrick. And what happened with Juanita Broaddrick? It was deep-sixed. And you know who deep-sixed it? Tom Brokaw of NBC News. Didn't run the Lisa Myers interview during the impeachment hearings. So please don't tell me about how pure the Democrats are about this.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. Let's go to Chip, who joins us from St. Charles.
Hey, are we going to stop the wheels of government every time a California college professor has a psychotic episode? What did this woman go on to do when she was 17, 18, or 19 years old? How much heroin and methamphetamines did she do and drinking? And
well, that was all because of this incident. She was traumatized.
And that wasn't looked into. I agree with the other caller. This is bull hockey. And it's just typical for the Democrats because they're desperate.
I had never heard of the term bull hockey. Thanks so much.
Well, because you can't say
horse
the other
pucky.
One, horse pucky.
I've
Thanks,
heard.
Chip. Let's
Yeah.
go to Frank, who joins us from St. Charles. Frank?
And good morning. Would it surprise anybody that this good Christian man actually assaulted her back then, and now he's calling her a liar? I mean, who knows what really happened, but it wouldn't surprise any of us if, he did it back then, and he's calling her a liar now. That's just the way the game's played.
It's possible. It's possible.
He just seems like such a good guy, and I just feel bad
People
for
change.
him and his family. I mean, I'm sure they had a horrible weekend, and he's also a coach of girls basketball
may have a
team. He
lot
may
of
explain this to his players.
And well, you know
it just gets so bad.
You notice one Democratic operative noted earlier that Kavanaugh has a tendency to hire female clerks. They were trying to pin him with
Oh my
this
gosh!
kind of stuff
well,
before
and then
that.
also they're
Yeah.
calling for him to be charged. Some Democratic lawmakers
Isn't there a statute of
charged with a crime?
limitations?
Yeah, but they don't read into the.
Well, you can charge him with it, then he's got to raise it as an affirmative defense.
Ugh, I love affirmative defense.
That was the name of your band your senior year in high school.
Exactly. I was a backup singer. John in Palatine. Good morning, John.
Hi, Amy. Hi, Bruce. Listen, I'm not sure if I'm understanding the whole story correctly, but I was just trying to count the people in the room, if you will. Was it just Miss Ford, the professor, Kavanaugh, and his friend, or was there a third person who jumped in and supposedly knocked all three? Because then you have more than two people confirming the story. And the other thing is we have a whole lot more evidence against the Pope, and they still nominated him, and he's the Pope.
I agree about the Pope. Yeah.
Good point, John. And that's true because she told her therapist that there were 4 guys, and then she told the Washington Post that there were 2
But
guys,
she
just
said that
Kavanaugh and his friend Mark Judge.
She said the therapist made a mistake in taking down the note. She said there were 4 people at the party, only 2 people in the room. Well, the therapist isn't a news reporter.
4 people at the party, 2 people in the room.
4 boys at the party. Two boys in the room. The therapist is taking down chicken scratch notes, and people like David French are making a big deal out of it. And you're going to have him on the show tomorrow, and I would vivisect him over that.
Holly in Hudson. Good morning, Holly. How are you?
Hey, good morning. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you, Holly.
Hey, I have 100 things to say, but I'll be brief. I hope it is true because I think we don't need Supreme Court justices who didn't lead a real American life. Second, I think
Holly's in favor of the assault. Okay, go ahead.
I am totally in favor of the assault. It happened to me 4 times a weekend growing up in Albuquerque. Every girl in the 80s. But here's the thing: what do you think the time was that this took? The incident that she's explaining, at least in my experience, would have taken about 90 seconds. This was teenage hijinks, and she has basically used it to justify her crappy life. She has been unhappy. She said it derailed her. Well, if something that took probably less than 2 minutes like that could derail her life, she's a wimp.
Well, it doesn't take that long to have her life.
Wait, because I loved what you were tweeting too. Yep.
Thank you. Then she's in marriage therapy in 2012, and it comes down to, well, she probably can't stay in the marriage because when she was 15 in 1982, somebody jumped on the bed and had a little fun for 90 seconds.
Ouch.
This is why I hate women. This is, Amy, you're the exception.
This is why I have no friends.
This is why I have no friends.
Holly,
Correct.
I
This is
love
why
you.
Twitter-
Holly, it took JFK's life to be only 3 seconds to be derailed. Here's the thing. I do agree with you, though. John Podhoretz tweeted
Thanks, Holly.
yesterday, and it's really good, that, if you look at the culture around the time in 1982, Revenge of the Nerds was out at that time. There's this relationship between Lewis and Betty in there, which is pretty similar to what happened here, and it's just described as raunchy fun. So, I mean, we look through the the current prism of Me Too. Not that it was good to do back then, and it's not good to do now. But I mean,
well, I think the
everything's
problem
relative.
is too. She said he put his hand over her mouth.
A lot of stuff.
and she thought, quote, that he was inadvertently going to kill me. Larry in Bartlett. Good morning, Larry.
Hey, good morning, Bruce and Amy. Actually, I have 2 thoughts. One, if the Democrats get away with this, you can bet that this will happen to every federal judge appointment, every appellate judge, and any other future Supreme Court judge. And then the second point, I'm more than a little bit annoyed at both you and Bruce because you've both said probably a dozen times that both boys were stinking, stumbling drunk. You don't know that. She didn't say that herself, only once. So why do you guys keep repeating what you think is just an assumption?
No,
You're not being any more fair than what you're accusing everybody else of.
Excuse me, I'm not done here. Who am I, damn prof? No, she said that they were stumbling drunk.
But Larry is saying, why should
Yes,
we assume?
she said.
Why
She
should-
said.
And she
said.
also said
They
she
did
had
not
one beer,
say
which
they were
means she had
drinking
more
at
than
all. So how can you assume they were?
Larry,
They weren't
You
there.
have
They claim that
You
they
guys
weren't there.
accused them of drinking.
No, I didn't, Larry. I
If
said
you and Bruce have both said they were stumbling
Larry,
drunk.
may
you
I?
never said
Okay,
Larry,
you
bye-bye, Larry.
accused them of
Larry,
being stumbling
we're
drunk.
going to hang up on you
He
and just
slandered
listen
me.
to what we say.
Larry slandered me.
No.
Because he said that I said that they were drunk. I didn't say that they were drunk. I said that she said that they were drunk. And
She
they
said-
said that they weren't even there.
She said that his friends, quote unquote, both stumbling drunk, corralled her into a bedroom. And she also told her mom that she had what? Or not her mom, her therapist. That
One
she had
beer.
One beer. Which, you know,
Look,
and when you're 15, one beer is really
For
4
purposes
beers.
of a motion for summary judgment here in the court of public opinion, we have to assume that all of the allegations are true. But does that still mean she has a case? I say he was 17. It was a horrible thing to do. He's lived an exemplary life since then. Put him on the court.
Text message. I agree with Amy. I remember where, down to the wallpaper, who, when, and where, and it was 52 years ago.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Don't you love fall and sleeping with open windows? But are you really sleeping as well as you could? The MyPillow buy one, get one offer is back for September. If you haven't bought your MyPillows yet, here's your chance to get one for yourself, a loved one, or maybe as a gift. I love that I can move the fill to get the support I need regardless of my sleep position. I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. MyPillow is made in America, washable and dryable, hypoallergenic, and has a 10-year warranty plus 60-day money-back guarantee. Go online or call now for this great buy one, get one deal on premium MyPillows. You can also get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress toppers, pet beds that Amy's dog Bunky recommends, luxury Giza, is that how you pronounce it? Cotton sheets and more. Call 800-489-0201 and use the promo code Amy. Or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201. Promo code Amy.
The players are fired up. The coaches are prepared for battle. The student section is rumbling. The band is ready to rock. And you're ready for victory.
Touchdown, Northern Illinois!
Every game, every victory is right here on the Husky Sports Network.
Your NIU Huskies battle the Florida State Seminoles this Saturday afternoon at 2:30. Be here for NIU football on AM 560, The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price-competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-607-3551. That's 800-607-3551. 800-607-3551. Or go to SelectQuote.com.
Since 1985,
We shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
AM 560, The Answer.
Breaking news to report right now on CNN is Deborah Katz. She's the attorney for Christine Blasey Ford, and she is saying that her client will testify before Congress. So I can't imagine they're going to have to push back Thursday's Senate vote, don't you think?
It seems like it. Unless they do it like today.
You'll hear from her as soon as we can turn it around and give it to you. We'll have that. Plus, Manafort makes a plea deal. And guess what? It's never too late to turn in an overdue library book. And it was delivered to a school in Lakeview. But let's go into the newsroom now. Here is Mike Scott.
A destructive wake left by Hurricane Florence, leaving emergency workers in and around the city of Wilmington, North Carolina, struggling to restore services and keeping residents away. The disaster is far from over this morning. Fox's Eben Brown is in Wilmington.
Stay away from Wilmington.
We want you home, but you can't come yet.
Woody White is the commission chair of New Hanover County, North Carolina.
Do not come. There's no access to Wilmington, and you could be putting yourself in harm's way.
Rising rivers from Florence's rains are forcing more evacuations, and roads like Interstate 40 and US 74 remain waterlogged from weekend rainfall. Authorities are looking into air and water delivery of food and fuel. In Wilmington, North Carolina, Eben Brown, Fox News.
A Kansas deputy, Robert Kunze, was shot and killed responding to calls about a suspicious character in that state in Sedgwick County, where Sheriff Jeff Easter detailed the events leading to Kunze being shot.
Deputy Kunze and another deputy are dispatched to a suspicious character call. At the scene, Deputy Kunze pushed his emergency button, which would alert dispatch to him being in trouble, and you can hear him key up and say he's been shot.
Senate Republicans are responding to the sexual misconduct allegations. Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh is facing days before a confirmation vote. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley says he has no plans of delaying that vote to advance the confirmation on Thursday. Grassley says it's disturbing the allegations from more than 35 years ago would come out just before a committee vote, seeing how Democrats, he says, have known about them since July. An off-duty captain of the Chicago Fire Department died early this morning in an apparent drowning. Fire crews responding to the call of a person in the water around midnight in Jackson Harbor. Divers were in the water for about 90 minutes. A man's body was recovered around 5 a.m. this morning. Chicago Fire Department later identified that person as 55-year-old Captain Daryl Moore. According to the fire department, Moore worked on truck number 40 in the Beverly neighborhood. Opening statements are set to begin today in the trial of police officer Jason Van Dyke, the Chicago officer charged with murder in the deadly shooting of Laquan McDonald in 2014. Judge Vincent Gaughan will swear in the full jury. He's also expected to rule later today on whether to move that trial out of Cook County. Bill Daley is on local media this morning, launching his bid for mayor of Chicago. Yes, that Bill Daley, former White House chief of staff, brother of former Mayor Daley, and son of his father, former Mayor Daley. He's the first big-name candidate to jump in officially since Mayor Emanuel announced he wasn't running for re-election earlier this month. Bears take on the Seahawks in their home opener. Monsters of the Midway 0-1 after losing to the Packers in Week 1. Reds top the Cubs 2-1 at Wrigley. Orioles beat the White Sox 8-4 in Baltimore. The news, a service of Ashley Home Store. Kick off the fall with a fresh look from Ashley Home Store. Hurry in for their fall home sale for a limited time. Save up to 30% on great styles or receive 0% interest for 72 months. The fall home sale going on now. Ashley Home Store. This is home. 6:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018, presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicagoland's retirement expert, on Saturday, October 27th. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Chicagoland Waterproofing. Underwriting, and by Tom Mirabaldi, independent agent for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois.
A glass of wine on the patio at day's end. Laughter from your teens and their friends gathered around the crackling fire of your new fire pit. This is the private oasis that AM Woodland Outdoor Design can create for you. Your outdoor space should be a reflection of your family's personality and a true extension of your home, not just a place to set your grill and furniture. A well-designed and constructed outdoor space can add significant value to your home and bring endless days of enjoyment. Spend more time together as a family, entertain friends, or just have a personal sanctuary to relax and de-stress. The expert team at AM Woodland Outdoor Design will guide you through every step of the process. They provide quality service with the utmost integrity and reliability every time.
AM Woodland Outdoor Design, proudly serving Lake, Cook, and Kenosha counties, helping make the communities they grew up in as beautiful as they can be. Visit amwoodland.com. That's amwoodland.com, or call 847-224-2167.
In today's world, violent crime can victimize anyone at any time. Larry Yoder here. When it's your time, will you be able to protect yourself and your loved ones? For my personal protection, I am attending a training at Front Sight, the world's premier firearms training facility located near Las Vegas. And through our personal relationship with Front Sight's founder and director, Dr. Ignatius Piazza, we've arranged for you and your family to train there too, free of charge. Yes, it's true. On your computer browser, enter frontsight.com/Larry to secure a $2,000 four-day defensive handgun course absolutely free of charge with no hidden surprises or catches. Enter frontsight.com/Larry. After your first course at Front Sight, you'll leave with skills that surpass 99% of the gun-owning population. Guaranteed. Nobody does it better than Front Sight, but you must act before these free courses are all taken. Secure your free four-day $2,000 course at frontsight.com/Larry, frontsight.com/Larry.
6:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Eastbound I-90, Adams Tollway, traffic heavy. Tri-State onto the Kennedy. Delays continue to Lawrence. Kennedy slow as Pale, Chicago Avenue to the Burns Circle. Traffic. It's 32 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 13 from Montrose, 10 of the Express. Outbound 35 minutes to O'Hare, plus there's some delays on westbound 190. Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 19. Eisenhower, 40 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 31. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford Jan from the Steel Bridge to 115th, crash to the two left lanes, 40 minutes, 8094 to Ryan. Northbound Veterans Memorial at Stop and Go, 75th for the Reagan Tollway. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. And your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny, humid, and temperatures soaring near 90 this afternoon. The record is 93. We likely won't hit that, but we'll see. 70, clear, warm, and humid overnight, and 84 with a thunderstorm tomorrow. 70 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Saturdays at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
Tickets for Freedom Summit Chicago are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
So we're staying on the Kavanaugh story all morning long. The accuser's lawyer just on CNN, Deborah Katz is her name, and she said that her client is willing to publicly testify before Congress. Has not been reached out by any lawmakers yet to do so, but she made that announcement about 3 minutes ago, letting everyone know that her client is available. And then she asked her, too, does your client want to block the nomination of Kavanaugh? And she said, no, she doesn't have a position on it. She just wants the Senate to do their job.
Well, Lindsey Graham said yesterday that he wanted to hear from her. Jeff Flake said he wanted to hear from her. I'm sure the Democrats
Bob Corker wants to hear from her. But Senator Grassley, who's a leader there, and he said he's questionable about the timing. Doesn't sit well with him.
Well, it shouldn't sit well. I mean, it was terribly botched by Dianne Feinstein, and she had ample opportunity to bring this up. And now, it's basically a Hail Mary pass by the Democrats. So that stinks to high hell, that whole thing. But the question is did this actually happen? And a couple of questions that you have to ask are the extremely relevant questions are, why didn't you tell anybody about this after it happened? Girlfriends usually talk among themselves after it happened. And why can't you name where the place was or when it happened? Because people remembered the details of traumatic incidents like that. So those are the two big questions that have to be asked. Also, I would ask the hypothetical question, if Judge Kavanaugh were in favor of upholding Roe versus Wade, would you have even sent this letter to Dianne Feinstein? And I have my doubts about that.
And she sent the letter. When did she send? So she left a tip on the Washington Post tip line, and then they've been trying to work her for a long time. She lives out in California. I know they had a reporter fly out there and try to get her to tell her story, but she said she always wanted to remain private until over the weekend there was somebody from BuzzFeed at her door. Another reporter from another publication was knocking on her door, and that's when she realized, you know what, I'm going to own this story. I'm going to own it.
Well, maybe, and this is looking at the evidence in a light most favorable to her, maybe she felt that if she gave the tip, that they would take it together with a whole bunch of other tips that they had and use it. But they don't have any other tips. This is not like Roy Moore. They don't have anything else. They don't have subsequent actions by Brett Kavanaugh. And it's going to be a he said, she said. And so I don't even see the reason for hearings over this. Let's get on with the vote. It's been a circus already.
Yeah, it has been. Between what Cory Booker, his aha moment, I got you moment, this whole thing's been just a complete fiasco. But then you have Lisa Murkowski. You just need one Republican, to flip or change their mind.
If there are more questions that need to be asked and answered, then I think it would be appropriate to allow for that time.
Now, there's also, a lot of perhaps irrelevant things come out, and we're just fielding this stuff as it comes in. I've seen on Twitter this morning that apparently Judge Kavanaugh's mother is a judge herself, and
he mentioned her too. What a wonderful judge she was, and that's why he went into the profession that he did because of his mother.
She presided over a case in which Christine Ford's parents apparently were the defendants in a house foreclosure case. So, does she have it in for that reason? Maybe. The problem is that it's everything's open right now.
But has anybody ever done something stupid in high school? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. I'm sure, Bruce, you were perfect, an exemplary child.
Actually, when I saw Kavanaugh himself, he appears to be like a nerdy kind of guy. Right. So now you think of him, oh, boy, he was actually drunk. And I'm thinking to myself, gee, I never got stumbling drunk in high school. We didn't drink in 19. I was one of the good kids in high school. I didn't do that at all because I'm a lot older than Kavanaugh.
You didn't drink in high school? Of course I didn't either for any of my teachers that are out there. You didn't even experiment or have a beer?
When I went to high school in the late 60s, early 70s.
Did people drink back then, or did they smoke pot?
The greasers did on Mulford Street. The guys who wore the black pants and the white shirts, and they smoked. And we thought,
you called them greasers?
They were called the
greasers.
We
called them burnouts, which is so awful. It's so cruel, labeling people like that.
But, I was like, I didn't want to get anything on my permanent record, like a tardy slip. Yeah.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. Let's go to our good friend Candace, who joins us in DuPage. Good morning, Candace.
Thanks for taking my call. Good morning. Okay, I'm really frustrated with Chuck Grassley because I feel like at the end of all these confirmations, there should be a vote. You don't get another 2 weeks to come up with something. That is so dumb. It's like after all of this, after everything that's going on with the president and Mueller and Spygate, you still don't understand the modus operandi of the Democrat Party. Look at Aaron Schock. Okay, that whole story about his office being decorated was totally bogus. Okay, so, and then look at this guy, the Navy SEAL down in Missouri. They tried to do the same thing with a woman, his ex-girlfriend. Oh, he took pictures. It's all a lie. It's all a smear.
Well,
just hold the stupid
Candace,
vote.
But wait
a minute.
All right.
You don't judge a man man's character by something he did in high school when he's an idiot.
I
Okay?
agree.
You judge him by his adult life.
I agree.
Okay. So hold the vote, hold the line, and hold the vote.
I agree with you,
because this is
Candace.
bogus.
All right.
Thank
so
you.
Deborah Katz, her attorney, thanks for the phone call, Candace, was, as we mentioned, just on with CNN. And you have to ask, what is the end game here? What does your client want?
So what does Dr. Blasey want now? Does Dr. Blasey want Brett Kavanaugh to sit on the Supreme Court, or for his approval, his confirmation to be blocked?
That's not what she wants one way or another. She wants the Senate to do what it
Baloney.
is constitutionally
It's lawyer
obligated
talk.
to do.
Wait, hold on.
She's taken this great risk of coming forward. She's a credible person. These are very serious allegations.
This is
and
total
they should be
bull
treated
from a lawyer. This
seriously,
is lawyer
and she should
talk.
be treated respectfully during this process. And unfortunately, at this point, she's already getting a lot of hostile threats and recrimination,
Yeah, right.
and
Blah,
that
blah,
is,
blah.
of course, quite disturbing and unfortunate.
This is lawyer bull jive.
Wow.
This is lawyer bull jive. That the lawyer, of course, the lawyer is going to say all she wants is justice to prevail. She doesn't care that. Look. Let's not play patty cake. Let's see what the smell test is right here. She doesn't come out if Brett Kavanaugh is in favor of upholding Roe versus Wade.
So you think she's
Period.
a Democratic plant?
I think she's probably telling the truth, and
but
she's
she's
got
telling
an
the truth,
agenda.
but she isn't the wrong guy?
Huh?
I mean, she's
No, I
telling the
don't think
truth, but she has the wrong
she
guy?
may or may not have the wrong guy. I've said that there are questions about her story, but she may actually be telling the truth. But they're not mutually exclusive. She could be telling the truth, and she's got an agenda, and I don't need to listen to the bull jive from her attorney.
Will your client, Christine Ford, be willing to testify in public to the Judiciary Committee?
The answer is yes.
Ooh, the big bombshell.
So tell me the trajectory of her willingness now to go to such a public forum.
Well, you're right. There was a great deal of ambivalence and about whether she wanted to be publicly associated with these allegations. And essentially that choice was made by her to remain confidential. She asked Senator Feinstein to keep her letter and her allegations confidential, and Feinstein agreed to do that. And that decision was essentially taken away from her as those allegations were leaked, and it resulted in a great deal of pressure from members of the media who knew who she was, who then started really invading her privacy, showing
and her
up
privacy's
at Stanford
invaded.
where she teaches.
She puts it out there.
Leaving her notes and emailing her and calling her. And she knew that she was going to be, her allegations were going to be outed. And that, in fact, is what occurred. And as a result, she decided to take control of this and tell this in her own voice.
Okay,
Let the
first of
record
all-
show I
first of
just
all,
burped
that-
during
yeah,
her
Thank you. Poison Grace.
filibuster.
First of all, any reporter that knows how to be a journalist, of course they leave notes for you everywhere. Of course they go where you work and where you live because they want the story. Her privacy was being invaded. No, a reporter sitting out front of your house is called a reporter doing their job.
This is not some rube on the street. This is a professor at Palo Alto.
She's a
Palo
doctor,
Alto
Dr. Christine
School of
Blasey
whatever.
Palo Alto.
How
She's
naive is she when she puts something on a tip line or tells the press about something? She actually thinks that she's trying to act like she's the reluctant
she's being victimized again now.
wallflower. She's being victimized again. She put herself out there. She wanted to get this out. And now, oh, really? I don't want this out. I don't. Oh, I do want it out. Oh, I don't want it out. Of course she wants it out there, and she wants to bring down Kavanaugh. Now, does that mean that she's not telling the truth? No, she may be telling the truth about this, although there are questions about it. But please stop with that she doesn't have an agenda. Of course she's got an agenda.
Paul in Lake Forest, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, another great show.
Thanks.
Bruce, you're a lawyer. What's the first rule of law? The law does not believe in coincidence. Okay? Oh, look at this. Another coincidence. Right when we find out that Feinstein's been leaking secrets to China so her husband can make $500 million, she comes forward with something else to distract us. They try to distract us from the soft coup. They try to distract us from what Hillary did. Enough's enough. Enough is enough. Get this thing going, get him approved, and let's move on. And please, people, go out in November and vote these losers down.
I agree,
This
Paul.
left has to be stopped.
You know, there actually is part of me that wants to see the Kavanaugh nomination defeated Because
Why? I don't.
The
What's
part
wrong
of me,
with you?
No, the part of me is that because this is going to cause such a groundswell of hatred that that the Republicans are going to come out in November and make sure that the House stays in Republican hands, and because you don't get away with this. You don't get away with this garbage right now. I mean, the guy was 17 years old.
And she was 15. Let's go to Megan on the South Side. Good morning, Megan.
Good morning, Amy and Bruce. I just wanted to say, I mean, Amy, you're a reporter. Don't you think that somebody got to her? I mean, look at what happened to Jim Jordan, for example. They scrub into his past from 40 years ago. They find some guy to say some, lies for money. I mean, I think somebody got to her, a reporter, somebody found out about her parents' story against the mother, went and got to her and told her she would be kept confidential, and then that wasn't able to happen.
Wait a minute. It's worse than that, Megan. She volunteered. She put herself out there. This is worse than that.
She contacted the Washington Post.
She contacted them, and now she's pretending she's the wallflower that doesn't want this to be public.
I don't believe that. I mean,
I don't think that things are mutually exclusive. I think it probably happened. She might be exaggerating the incident. Remember, I mean, this is 1982.
She's 15 years old and
Fast
probably...
Times at Ridgemont High.
Well, thanks, Megan, for the... Oh, yeah. What else, Megan?
Well, and back to Amy, what you said about doing stupid things in high school. I had some stupid boys in high school, and I'll tell you right now, I couldn't remember the exact things that they did and said and all that. Anyway, thank you.
All right, thanks, Megan. See, I can remember everything because everybody has a youthful indiscretion, but I remember whose house I was at, and I remember how I got there, and I remember how I got home. So her saying she didn't know whose house she was in, she doesn't remember going there or coming home.
It doesn't seem like it was that traumatic to her at the time. That's what's interesting. Well, because otherwise you'd remember where you were and and when it happened. And you would have told somebody about it.
She's a published professor. She's established in her community. She's
I think she decided
research psychologist.
I think she decided later that it was traumatic.
We got a great text message, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. Hey guys, her description of what happened is straight out of Back to the Future, where Marty McFly. Where's Marty McFly when you need him?
Did he do? Wait, is there a scene like that? I know there's a scene in Revenge of the Nerds like this, which John Podhoretz brings out. It shows that was just a raunchy, fun comedy.
Why did they have their bathing suits on, too? I mean, she said she said that he was grinding her. He pinned her to the bed, was grinding.
She had clothes
her,
on
and then she
over
had
her bathing suit.
Yeah, that he tried to take off her one-piece suit and the clothes on top of it.
Well, yeah, she had her bathing suit on underneath.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
her
were they at a
clothes.
pool party? Well, why was she wearing her bathing suit?
You don't know what I'm just resisting saying.
I know,
right
but
now.
thank
you
God.
know what I was going to say right now?
Nothing. We're going to take
You know
Marty,
about a bathing
who
suit?
joins us from Naperville. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning. We all want to know is when is her book coming out?
Oh, yeah.
When is the book coming out?
I know Anita Hill's published a few books, right?
When the day that Steve Bartman's book comes out.
All right,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Thanks, Marty, for the phone call. Let's go to Mike, who joins us from the north side. Good morning, Mike.
Hi, kids. Thanks for taking my call. We've all done stupid things when we were teenagers. I was told by the Trump administration that I couldn't get on the Supreme Court because after a rugby game, I was naked on the bar singing, "I'm a little teapot." But I mean, I think if you really, Bruce, if you really want to defend this guy, what you should do is you should come out with a claim that he made a homosexual advance against you. He was gender confused, and if the Democrats go against him, then they're homophobic. Then they have to drop all this.
Boy, you're spinning me around. I'm a little dizzy right now, but I get. Look, I don't want to diminish the severity of what actually happened to her, if it did happen to her. But okay, the guy's led an exemplary life since then. No,
he's a basketball coach for little girls.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Grocery wars are heating up, and billionaire Michael Bloomberg may be planning a 2020 presidential run. And a Nebraska firm sued for not hiring a deaf driver. Those stories next.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle, and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Shares of grocery giant Kroger dropping about 14% last week. Both Walmart and Target gaining share in the retail grocery segment. Walmart has invested heavily in its online and home delivery grocery platforms, assuring the competition will show no signs of slacking anytime soon. The Times of London reporting billionaire Michael Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York City, may be ready to launch a bid for president in 2020. Bloomberg was once a Republican and now apparently bills himself as an independent. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is suing an Omaha trucking company for refusing to hire a driver because he's deaf. The company says to do so would raise health and safety concerns. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Real quick text message. I married the guy who did that to me in high school. Sorry, too soon to laugh.
Showed he was a man. Fall is here, and so are those weekend cleanup projects. It's also the perfect opportunity to get organized with Storlock Modular Systems, the best tool cabinet you'll ever buy. Storlock makes it easy and simple. It's fully assembled when it ships, so you can get organized fast. Durable Storlock Modular Systems are built the old-fashioned way, made to order exactly how you want it. Order your custom system that's powder-coated in-house in any color you want. They're 100% crafted in the USA and feature dividers, liners, and layouts, all made with quality materials, including steel ball bearings and heat-treated steel rollers. Storlock is so strong that each drawer holds up to 400 pounds. Storlock fits any home or business and will last a lifetime with its 55-year top-to-bottom warranty. Order today and receive your system in about 4 weeks. Call 1-800-STORLOCK. That's 1-800-STORLOC. And check out Storlock.com for upcoming events.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago, and I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature, so we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Do you know your bank's fraud tolerance? I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive. At Signature Bank, we have zero tolerance. While some of the big banks may write off smaller incidences of fraud, we use a multi-layered approach to fight fraud before it happens to our customers. There's been a record number of businesses hit with payments fraud this year. Keeping your business assets safe is our top priority. We are trained, and we will train you to recognize potential wire fraud threats and business email compromise scams. Call us today to find out how Signature Bank can work with your business to fight fraud.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Tickets for Freedom Summit Chicago are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Could there be a delay in the Brett Kavanaugh vote? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I have been embarrassed by the whole process.
Republican Senator John Kennedy also tells Fox,
I'm a little bit offended.
Upset that a sexual misconduct allegation against Kavanaugh, Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein knew about since July, has exploded into controversy days before the Senate Judiciary Committee votes. Democrats want a delay. Some Republicans join them, wanting to hear directly from the accuser, who has detailed what happened now. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in D.C.
Dave, Christine Blasey Ford told the Washington Post that in the 1980s, Judge Kavanaugh held her down and covered her mouth while drunk at a party before she was able to break away. Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, told Fox and Friends Ford should be heard and should testify under oath.
The Senate Judiciary Committee looks like they are headed that way. Judge Kavanaugh, who has categorically denied these allegations, will also have an opportunity to address them under oath.
Ford's attorney, Deborah Katz, told NBC her client is willing to testify publicly before the committee. Dave.
Rachel, parts of the Carolinas remain underwater. Rivers overflowing into streets now navigated by boats.
Being this far inland, I knew what to expect. I just wasn't expecting that.
He's in Union County. Fox's Jeff Flock is in Fayetteville.
It is running through the streets, basements, first floors of a lot of buildings. And the problem is, this is not done. They think that the crest for this will come sometime tomorrow.
Some areas have gotten more than 30 inches of rain. The storm that's moving north as a tropical depression is blamed for at least 17 deaths. A sheriff's deputy shot and killed near Wichita, Kansas, responding to a suspicious person call.
Deputy Coonsey pushed his emergency button, which would alert dispatch to him being in trouble. And you can hear him key up and say he's been shot.
Sedgwick County Sheriff Jeff Easter says another deputy found Coonsey on the ground next to the gunman, who was also dead. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Skies are fair, 70 degrees, a warm and sticky start to a hot week until about Thursday when temperatures begin to cool down. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. No one hurt following a shooting along the Dan Ryan Expressway. Early this morning, state police say a vehicle sustained damage after gunfire broke out in the northbound lanes at 79th. There have been no arrests. An off-duty captain of the Chicago Fire Department died early this morning in an apparent drowning. Fire crews responded to a call of a person in the water around midnight at Jackson Park Harbor, located in the 6500 block of South Richards. Divers searched the water for about 90 minutes. The man's body was recovered at around 5 a.m. Chicago Fire Department then identified him as 55-year-old Captain Daryl Moore. According to the fire department, Moore worked on Truck 40 in the Beverly neighborhood. Opening statements are set to begin later today in the trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke. Judge Vincent Gaughan will swear in the full jury. He's also expected to rule later today on whether to move that trial out of Cook County. A Rosemont police officer and a Chicago man are accused of robbing two suburban gas stations last week. Sergeant Edward Karras joined another man, Wright O'Laughlin. They're both charged with armed robbery. Investigators believe Karras was the getaway driver. Bill Daley will officially launch his bid for mayor of Chicago later today. Former White House chief of staff is seeking the office once held by his brother and father. He's the first big-name candidate to officially jump into the race since Mayor Emanuel announced he was not running for re-election earlier this month. Bears take on the Seahawks in the home opener tonight. Bears fell to the Packers in Week 1. Reds topped the Cubs 2-1 at Wrigley Field, while the Orioles beat the White Sox 8-4 in Baltimore. The news, a service of Compassion International. Sponsoring a child with compassion is the most effective way to end extreme child poverty. Release a child from poverty when you become a Compassion sponsor. Choose your child now at compassion.com/radio and do your part to release a child from poverty today. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018, presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicagoland's retirement expert, on Saturday, October 27th. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Precision Payroll of America and by Joe Cotton Ford in Carroll Stream.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a SelectQuote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-597-0315. That's 800-597-0315. 800-597-0315. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
The following is a paid political announcement.
They raised my taxes in the middle of the recession, and my house was not worth the value that they claimed it was.
That's how it works in Illinois. Even when your home value decreases, your property taxes continue to increase.
We pay the bill, but they have no money to pay for having a meal.
The government is stealing your home. Listen to Mike S. in Naperville.
We're overtaxed, and my home value is not appreciated because of how much we're paying in property taxes.
Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, you will not be spared the financial disaster the highest property taxes in the nation inflict. The good news is there's a group of independent candidates who aren't financed by Madigan or Rauner. They're working people taking up our fight to lower your property taxes. They made a life in Illinois, and the hell if they're going to let politicians take it away. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org for information on the candidates leading the revolt. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to hear your neighbors' stories and share your own. SaveYourHomeNow.org isn't just a website, it's a battle cry.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
7:07, and let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Westbound I-80 traffic is jammed. Cherry Hill Road to the Des Plaines River Bridge. Crash in the two left lanes. It's heavy Larkin before Humboldt. Crash in the right lane. Edens Expressway runs 31 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 53 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 28 from Montrose, 22 in the Express. Outbound 44 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower, 58 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 40. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 43. Line is 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 27 minutes, side east to merge. Bishop Ford, 40 for crash near 115th. Delays on the Tri-State northbound, 115th, the Hinsdale Oasis, and Roosevelt to Lawrence. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
At 7:08 on AM 560, it's time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal 800-421-SEAL. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, sunshine and patchy clouds with a high 90, then a clear night tonight, low 70. Very warm and humid tomorrow with sun and clouds. A late afternoon shower or thunderstorm with a high 84. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
70 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good Monday morning, Amy Jacobson in here. And hello, and I do speak English. Bruce Wolf sitting in for Dan Proft.
I'm out there. You're in here.
I'm in here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just, rattled and
Sure.
nerves rattled because of this Kavanaugh.
Keep yourself steady here.
Stuff that's, yes, it's going to be a long slog, and we've just, been told by her attorney that she's willing to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee, and she's waiting for a lawmaker to reach out to her to ask her to come and testify at the Hill.
Lindsey Graham said yesterday he did want to talk to her. I think maybe they do it. Can they do it behind closed doors, closed session?
No, her attorney says she wants to do it publicly. And that's what, just like Anita Hill.
She was such a wallflower just a couple of minutes ago. Now she has to do it publicly. That's fascinating.
Move over Anita Hill. And we'll get to that later in the show. And also, Ken Starr's going to be here at 8:08. I'm going to be changing into my blue dress. What are you going to wear?
Ken Starr can interview Brett Kavanaugh, who could say, I did not try to have sex with that woman. Maybe. What am I going to wear? Yeah.
No, we'll talk about the Manafort. Paul Manafort taking a plea deal and what it means for the Trump administration.
What's interesting is there's a scare every day for the Trump administration, and it usually doesn't come through. Remember, the big talk was when Manafort made the plea deal, he's going to flip on Trump. But now it doesn't seem like he's going to flip on Trump. It seems like that, as Andy McCarthy wrote in National Review, had Mueller actually wanted to get the goods on Trump, he had Gates, who was the guy who flipped on Manafort. He already had the info from Gates. This has not been done for that purpose, but it doesn't seem like anyway. So it appears to be yet another hopeful thing by the Democrats that didn't pan out. But now the latest thing is the Kavanaugh deal.
Right, and this morning, President Trump has not tweeted a word about Kavanaugh. What's he tweeting about? You said
U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel.
Kind of off topic there, President Trump. A little bit.
But what I'm reading on Twitter anyway is that the White House is prepared to attack her. And this isn't going to be pretty.
This is going to get ugly.
Because it's very difficult. You've got to be delicate about attacking somebody who might actually have a plausible story. There are two big questions, though. It's hot, as you've been saying all morning. If you've been traumatized, you usually remember where and when it happened, if it was such a traumatic incident. And she doesn't remember where and when it happened. But otherwise, it's possible that it happened.
Well, let's talk about Paul Manafort for a while. Former campaign chairman for 5 months. He's now cooperating with Mueller and the Russian probe. Rudy Giuliani didn't seem fazed. He actually seemed relieved when he was on Fox News Friday night.
I mean, the reality is there was a quote put out by a source close to Manafort that the plea agreement and the cooperation agreement has nothing to do with the Trump campaign. Quote, there is no evidence of collusion. Now, I know that because I've been privy to a lot of facts I can't repeat, but the reality is no evidence of collusion.
Yeah, just like I'm saying, right, that Andy McCarthy said, the plea deal was done because they don't really need to do anymore. They've already convicted him of one thing. They don't really need to, go through anything else with him.
Do you see what he has to turn over? $22 million in real estate. So he's giving the government 5 of his properties in New York, including an apartment in the Trump Tower, handing over 3 bank accounts and his life insurance policy. This guy had, he had a $3.2 million home in Soho. He had a great place on the Hamptons and a brownstone townhouse in Brooklyn. He had all these properties all over.
For all we know, he's going to testify against Podesta.
Well, Alan Dershowitz, who I respect, he's a little more concerned. He says this is bad for the Trump administration.
Manafort, if he was going to make a deal, should have made it before he was convicted. He would have gotten a better deal. And President Trump, if he was going to pardon, he should have pardoned before Manafort agreed to cooperate. So there's not going to be any pardon now. And Manafort has a deal. His sentence will reflect how much cooperation he gives. There is always the risk, a man like Manafort has to walk a tightrope. If he's caught lying, the deal is off.
Yeah, and the deal is, besides handing over all the property, $22 million, there's a cap of 10 years in prison.
He's 69 years old now.
Right, but there's a cap of 10 years. So if he blows the deal, if he lies or caught lying, he can go to jail for a long, long time.
It's bad because he doesn't know what Manafort is saying, and he can't count on Manafort saying only things that the special counsel already knows. And when you don't know what a cooperator is saying, then it's a bad day for you because you're vulnerable and exposed.
A bad day for Trump, Dershowitz is saying, because and Dershowitz always emphasizes this, that when they make these deals, the people who make the deals are ready to compose, that is, make up stories. And as a civil libertarian, he's concerned about that. A guy like Andy McCarthy, though, from National Review, legal expert as well, doesn't look at it quite that way, and also thinks that prosecutors make deals once they've already got the conviction, and then they'll get leniency. You don't necessarily make it beforehand. So there's a difference among the great legal minds on this.
Yeah, and someone that's been in Mueller's shoes, trying to get agreements from witnesses is Ken Starr, and he'll join us at 8:08.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
With the recent rainy weather, Permaseal is working hard to help homeowners across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana, but they need your help. Permaseal is hiring in all departments, especially sales, customer service, and installation. They're looking for people with a great work ethic, who have ambition, positive attitude, want to learn new skills, and have a desire to make the world a better, drier place. Does this sound like you? Then go to permaseal.net/careers to apply today. No experience is needed. Permaseal will teach you to become an expert in waterproofing and foundation repair. Their experienced team offers great training, year-round work, tremendous growth opportunities, and a great fun work environment. To apply, go to permaseal.net/careers if you're looking for a career change or a dry basement. You know who to call. Permaseal at 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325, or go to permaseal.net.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Cutting taxes, appointing conservative justices, and strengthening our military. Donald Trump is working to make America great again, but he can't do it alone. President Trump needs allies in the Senate. Joe Donnelly voted against our tax cuts, and he votes against Trump's policies almost 60% of the time. President Trump needs Mike Braun.
This election is about safety, and this election is about jobs. Democrats want to open borders. Democrats want to raise your taxes. We need Republicans in Congress. We want people like Mike Braun. He's a special man, and he is going to be a truly great senator.
Vote for Mike Braun for U.S. Senate. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Hi, Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. I could talk to you all day about how I feel about Townstone's service, low closing costs, and great rates. But how about listening to one of our customers?
My name's Elisa French. We've had such good experience with Townstone Financial and specifically Barry Sterner that when my mom was looking to move to Chicago, the first thing I said to her was, she had to call Townstone and got in touch with Barry Sterner, which again, amazing relationship. My sisters, when I am able to ask a question, and I have many questions when it comes to this, he really almost holds my hand with his knowledge and explains in such an easy way, and it makes me feel comfortable. So it's easy for me to recommend him.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS
NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-694-2640 now. That's 800-694-2640 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-694-2640 to learn more. 800-694-2640. That's 800-694-2640. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Author and radio talk show host Eric Metaxas is coming to Chicago next week for a series of speaking engagements, including one at Judson University in Elgin. That's where we'll be broadcasting live next Tuesday morning, and that same evening, Eric will be speaking at Emmanuel Lutheran Church in East Dundee at 7 p.m., and he'll be signing copies of his book, Martin Luther. You can get tickets by going to 560theanswer.com/Luther. And right now we have a pair of tickets to give away to caller 10 at 312-733-6993. That's 312-733-6993.
So today's a big day. Bill Daley is going to make the grand announcement that he is going to run for mayor. Good idea. Who wants another Daley? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. Because he swore that he would never run for public office again. And that happened in 2013. Remember, he entered the Democratic primary against Governor Pat Quinn, but it quit abruptly after just 3 months, walked away.
He was the Vontae Davis of gubernatorial races.
Wouldn't he know then that this might not be
He's
for
bored.
him? Well, no, he's the brains of the family. He really is. I mean, he's the ex-commerce secretary. He's run several businesses, been on many corporate boards.
No, he handed Rahm Emanuel $15 million. This is all one big circle thing, as I'd like to say.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Bruce Rauner and Bill Daley were big businessmen a number of years ago. And guess who
former banking executive.
guess who midwifed a deal between the two of them? Rahm Emanuel. That's how Emanuel got $15 million or whatever it is.
Oh,
That's
was
how
between
he made
Daley
his
and
money.
Rauner?
It was between Daley and Rauner. They just sashay in and out of government. They make their money. They walk out. They walk in. I mean, and it's the same old plutocracy, as I like to say. And I also like to say that Illinois ain't broke. It's fixed. But
hey, who said that?
I don't know. So we need another
70,
Daley.
Yeah, he's 70 years old. As again, not also being the former Commerce Secretary, he was also chief of staff to President Barack Obama, succeeding Emanuel.
Right. So
once he left, so
this is absolutely the gateway to a failed mayoral term or a couple of terms, because you become the chief of staff and then you come to Chicago and you screw the pooch as the mayor of Chicago. So Bill Daley, look, I mean, he's got all the credit in the world, because do you remember that photograph of him in the Situation Room when Osama bin Laden was caught? You can tell that he's the straw that stirs the drink on that whole thing. He's the guy.
Idea,
he's the guy who made the orders. I I think he had
when
his
Hillary
arms
was
folded.
This,
yeah.
she was Kavanaugh.
Somebody
put your hand over my mouth. Sorry.
So, just
Too
this
soon.
weekend, the Sun-Times had a story about some scam with pension funds that a Daley nephew, Vaneco, where we heard that before, was involved in some risky thing that the city had taken part in.
Rob Vaneco, the one who was in jail for 60
I don't
days?
know. I get my Daleys
for
and
accidentally
Vanecos.
killing somebody?
They're all fungible to me, all these different Daleys. How many years did we have Mayor Richard J. Daley? I mean, he was like from 56 to 76, something like that. And then Richie M. was for 22 years. Why don't we just exhume Anton Cermak while we're at it?
You know, I do have a little bit of breaking news.
Oh.
Over the weekend, somebody came to me is going to start an exploratory committee to run for mayor, and that's Ronnie Woo Woo. And he said that his slogan was to be changing Chicago one woo at a time.
Sure.
I'm not kidding you. People, they claim he and his handler, Janet, say that people come up to him all the time. Why don't you run for mayor? Why don't you run for mayor? And did you see the list? The Sun-Times did a great list of breaking down who's running for mayor, who's considering running for mayor, and other potential candidates. Yeah. And I didn't know. Kurt Summers is on here. Tom Tunney, who's so worried about parking. Tom Tunney is on the
Good
list.
old number 44.
And my alderman, Amaya Pawar, who is not up for re-election. He's resigning his aldermanic post. He's considering running. Susanna Mendoza, LaShawn Ford, Chuy Garcia that we mentioned. But Gary, the biggest concern I think for us Paul Vallis supporters, Gary Chico. I think that would be really bad for Paul Vallis if Gary Chico decided to run.
Well, I mean, I'm surprised that Ronnie Woo Woo was alive because I always thought that Ernie Banks was Ronnie Woo Woo, and that when Ernie died, Ronnie went too. That was like his doppelganger. So Chuy Garcia deserves to be the mayor.
No, he already has a job. He doesn't. He has two jobs.
He deserves to be the mayor because Rahm quashed the Laquan video, and but for the quashing of that, Chuy would have beaten Rahm, and he would be the mayor right now, and he could run the city into the ground.
Chuy's not going to win. There's no way. I will see to that. That's not going to happen. No way. Let's go to Spence, who joins us from Mokina. Good morning, Spence.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing?
We're doing good. How are you? We're doing well.
Hey, got a question. I got a good. I will say this, meaning I've been around the guy a couple of times at some events, but I got a guy that I'm an acquaintance with that's running for mayor. I don't hear anybody talking about. He's the only Republican running for mayor. His name is William J. Kelly. I wish we would talk a little bit about it because he's got a good past and guy's a heck of a guy. Needs all the help he can get.
You're a majority of one. Very good.
Spencer.
Thank you, Spencer.
Yeah.
Republican's going to win.
William Kelly.
I think Ronnie Woo Woo will get more.
I think people know who Ronnie Woo Woo is much more than they know who that guy is.
The only scoop I ever got as a sportscaster in all my years was from John McDonough, then president of the Cubs. We had him on opening day one day, and I said, John, is Ronnie Woo Woo ever going to sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game at Wrigley Field? And he said, Bruce, and I think he made this up on the spot. He said, he's going to sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game this year. And he did. And that was the only scoop I ever had in all those years as a journalist.
That's great. Well, I love what Lori Lightfoot said about people entering the race now that Emmanuel's gone.
Many of us have been out here for months making our case to Chicagoans. And anybody who decides to jump in and take advantage of today's political news, I think a fair question to ask them is where have they been?
And that's what reporters better do today when Bill Daley makes his announcement. Why you were too scared of Mayor Emanuel before, so you didn't decide to run. Now you're going to run.
Well, we need. I mean, if
we don't need another Daley.
Well, Vallis is kind of the white candidate. I think that so.
Going to get the
Daley
Greek vote.
Bill Daley could be the white candidate.
No, Bill Daley. I'm telling you, people are.
I don't know what is
voter fatigue and family fatigue. I'm done. We don't need to have another Daley.
I don't think.
And the fact that he dropped out after 3 months against Quinn says a lot.
Well, who would? I mean, you're one of them. Who would? The Lakefront liberals, as Tom Brokaw might say, who would they support? Because that's the white candidate.
Seriously looking at Paul Vallis right now, and they're also going to look at Chuy because he's a progressive. Ooh. And that's pretty much it.
Okay.
They don't really know.
So you might get a coalition of the Hispanics and the white liberals on the lakefront to vote for Chuy Garcia.
All I know is this is what I hear. People want to walk down their street and not fear being shot. And this happens on the north side in Lincoln Park and in Lakeview because that's been happening. I mean, the place where I get my nails done, 3 African Americans walked in with guns drawn at 10:30 in the morning and took everyone's purse and cell phones.
Did you did you complete the nail job?
No, I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't there.
But I'm just saying, and that's in Roscoe Village. I mean, so that's what people want. They feel safe. They want good schools for their kids.
And
they're so sick of paying taxes
in the neighborhood. You're going to lower your property values. You're going to lower your values right there if you start talking about nail salons being invaded. Because that doesn't happen where I live. Okay.
Well, you live near Wisconsin.
Yes.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
If you have pain, listen up. Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So, Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
You know, with all this breaking news and the Kavanaugh story and allegations, we forgot tonight is the Bears home opener, and someone who may break a Guinness World Record, Chet Kopic. He's been at 68 consecutive Bears home openers.
Oh, so he wasn't at the first game when George Halas invented the NFL at the Hupmobile factory in Canton,
can
Ohio.
Ask him, because we're going to be speaking to him next. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Skies are partly sunny, 71 degrees. The lawyer for the woman leveling accusations at Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct says her client would be willing to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee. On CNN, Deborah Katz, an attorney representing Christine Blasey Ford, says the answer in as far as she knows is yes to testifying publicly. Rescue efforts continue in flood-swept North Carolina, where what's left of Hurricane Florence has dumped historic levels of rain. NBC News Radio's Wendy Wolfolk is in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Rain is still in the forecast for today and tomorrow, so it's definitely not the time to let our guards down.
Floodwaters have made it virtually impossible to leave or get into that city. Power is out. 900 have been pulled out of harm's way. Florence has killed 17. A Kansas sheriff's deputy has been killed in the line of duty. Sedgwick County Sheriff Deputy Robert Kunze was responding to a suspicious persons report yesterday afternoon when he confronted a suspect and exchanged gunfire. Former Whitewater Independent Counsel Ken Starr believes Paul Manafort made a smart decision by cooperating in Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation.
It is so terrific for the investigation and, frankly, for the American people that we're moving forward. We're getting someone who may be knowledgeable.
ABC's This Week had Starr saying his decision was the right thing based on the seriousness of the charges. Here in Chicago, an off-duty captain of the Chicago Fire Department died early this morning in an apparent drowning. Fire crews responded to the call of a person in the water around midnight at Jackson Park Harbor. The man's body was recovered around 5 a.m., and later, Chicago Fire Department identified him as 55-year-old Captain Darrell Moore. Opening statements are set to begin today in the trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke. The officer is charged with murder in the deadly shooting of teenager Laquan McDonald in 2014. Bill Daley will officially launch a bid for mayor of Chicago today. The former White House chief of staff is seeking the office once held by his brother and father. Bears take on the Seahawks tonight in the home opener. Reds top the Cubs 2-1, and the Orioles beat the White Sox 8-4. The news is a service of Smart911.com. Smart 911 is a free service coming to Chicago this fall. It allows you to provide important medical and household information to assign first responders in emergencies. Because every second counts, sign up today at Smart911.com. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next. on AM 560.
Dennis Prager always wants the truth.
Other than improving, how has the United States changed since Donald Trump became president? Tell me a way in which it has become worse. They make up lies. There's more racism, there's more anti-Semitism. It's all lies. You know that in your own life. They make up things. They just make up things. They have to, because leftism is total myth.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Jack Tabota at Tabota & Associates calls this mailbox money. It's the monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. Jack and his team want to help remove stress from your retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Tabota & Associates at 630-883-4453 for a complimentary retirement analysis with strategies that could help your nest egg provide you monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call right now, 630-883-4453 and schedule a visit. You, your retirement, Tabota & Associates, 630-883-4453. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints and spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. Balance of Nature has been an amazing product. I've recommended it to literally hundreds. I'm a pastor, and I've said, y'all just try it. Give it a month. Give it a try. And so hopefully they have. But it's an amazing product, and the neatest thing is when you first open up that bottle and you can smell the fruits and vegetables. Every time I open one, I just get a big kick out of that.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
7:36 and a check of the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
On Metro's BNSF line, the train due downtown at 7:45 is stopped due to a mechanical failure. Edens is 42 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 26. Kennedy, hour and a half. O'Hare to downtown. It's a crash partly blocking the ramp to the outbound Eisenhower. Express lanes are quicker at the moment. Eisenhower running an hour and 6 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson an hour and 2 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive has a jam. Belmont to North Avenue, northbound for the Stevenson to Monroe. North on Tri-State heavy Southwest Highway to 31st and Roosevelt to Lawrence. Adams Tollway 25, Bartlett. Northbound Veterans Memorial, I-55 to Roosevelt. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Sunny, humid. Temperatures near the record of 93 will top out near 89. Currently 71. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
All right, so we're taking a break.
Fight with the might so fearlessly. We'll never forget the way you thrilled the day.
Sean.
With your T formation, bear down, Chicago Bears, and let them know why they're wearing the crown. You're the pride and joy of Illinois, Chicago Bears. Bears down. Second verse. Oh, there isn't one.
Oh, there isn't a second verse. Hi, Amy Jacobson here. Bruce Wolf filling in for Dan Proft. Dan can't sing. Dan's lost his head voice, and you still maintained it after all these years.
Oh.
Very proud of you.
Thank you.
And we're taking a break from Kavanaugh and the new Anita Hill to talk about Bears football because tonight is the home opener against the Seattle Seahawks. And a man who has been at 68 consecutive Bears home openers is the one, the only, Chet Kopic. Good morning, Chet. Hold on.
My gosh, Amy, don't stop. You're on a roll.
Did you like
How
our...
are you kids doing?
We're doing well. We're doing well. A little busy this morning, so we have to cleanse our palate and talk about something here locally, and that's the Bears. Are you impressed so far with their first game of the season?
Well, I was impressed for the first 30 minutes.
Me too.
Amy, the second half was, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. That being said, I think Seattle lines up as an ideal opponent for the Bears tonight. Their front seven is very, very weak. They don't run the ball very well. There is no excuse for the Bears not to win this game tonight. The key matchup, obviously, Russell Wilson, the Seattle quarterback, dealing with the linebacking strength of Khalil Mack, who's become, Mr. America here in Chicago, and young rookie Roquan Smith.
Yeah, here's the thing.
He makes defense fun,
well,
honestly.
Here's the thing, Chet. Khalil Mack, first half was fantastic. Did he fatigue because he hadn't played, he hadn't been in training camp? Because the Bear defense disappeared in the second half, so I'm a little bit worried about that tonight.
Bruce, that's a great point. I was talking with Dennis McKinnon, good old Silky D, the other day about
85,
about the 85 about the Bears in the second half up at Green Bay, and he was of the opinion that Akeem Hicks was a goner, Leonard Floyd was a goner, and that Khalil Mack lost the motor, and they did. I mean, the fact is, the defense. I mean, you don't give up 3 touchdown passes. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers is the good Lord himself. You don't give up 3 fourth-quarter touchdown passes, but they did because they couldn't generate a pass rush on a quarterback who was playing on one leg. This game is huge tonight for this franchise. If they drop to 0-2, we all know what Chicago is all about. If we aren't bitching about Crooked Alderman, what are we bitching about the Bears offense?
And this would be, if you make it to tonight's game, which you are going to make it, it will be your 68th consecutive Bears home opener. Do you remember your first game?
The funny thing is, just Chet claims he's only 57 years old, so I want to know how that works, but go ahead.
So did you go to your first game in diapers?
I went to my first game, I believe, no, not in diapers. I would have been by then actually, Amy, I was wearing a thong.
You're going to go to your last game in diapers, though, Chet. Now, here's the thing.
No, I want to know about your first game.
I'm going to my game tonight in adult diapers. So the first game I went to would have been in 1951.
Oh.
And tonight will be 68 in a row. My father had a great passion for the Bears. He was very close to George Halas. And, over the years, it just became kind of like a tradition with me. And over the years, I've flown in from New York, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, blah, 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 just to see the Bears open up their season. And, Bruce, you will know this. Greatest Bears opener of all time, 87.
I was there.
Beating a back-to-back Super Bowl champions. The Bears clobbered the Giants and Phil Simms, 37-19.
Elvis Toast Patterson. That was the one Bear opener I was at. You've been to 68. So Chet, what did you think yesterday? Vontae Davis of the Buffalo Bills quits at halftime. Now, I'm walking out in the middle of this interview right now, but Vontae Davis, he quit the Buffalo Bills at halftime.
Well, he put on his street clothes and walked out the door because in 2 games they've given up, 48 points?
Know,
and he just said, you know what, I'm done. I'm not fast enough.
I know, but usually
you wait till the game's over.
You give a 2-minute warning or something like that. Not 2 weeks, but 2 minutes. Have you ever seen anything like that?
No, I haven't, and I think it's absolutely classless. It's crass. There was a way to handle this. Meet with the general manager and the owner on Monday and say, listen, guys, I haven't got it. I want to retire. Let's do it with dignity. I want to congratulate my teammates. I want to wish them all the luck in the world. But, just walking out at halftime,
selfish.
That's as bad as Spiro Agnew with Richard Nixon.
Now, Chet, even worse than what Vontae Davis did yesterday was me in my fantasy league. I benched Ben Roethlisberger.
So bad.
I benched him. He scored 50 fantasy points. And you know who I'm starting in his place? Mitch Trubisky tonight. So is he going to have any kind of game?
I think he does, Bruce. His secondary isn't all that good. Gosh knows he's got weapons. Here's the thing about Mitch Trubisky. The Bears are going to take the leash off and just let the guy play. Let him call some of his own plays. I like Matt Nagy, but I think he's very much a rookie coach. I think he's been a disciple of Andy Reid, which meant that he held the clipboard for Andy Reid. There's no reason to believe Trubisky tonight shouldn't throw for 250 yards with a couple of touchdown passes, minimally.
Yeah, but he's not going to score 50 fantasy points.
Well, that will be good, and at least they'll make up some of the deficits.
All right, so Chet, you have a new book out, and the title is Chet on Chet Kopic? Did I butcher that?
Well, Amy,
it's close enough.
Actually, the full and complete title is What the Hell Happened? No.
Chet, give us a little tease. Give us, a story there that we don't know.
Title.
Well, you give us the proper title and your name, but also, give us something in there, to make us want to buy it.
Your Guy, My Dance Floor, Chet Kopic in Pursuit of Chet Kopic. I'll give you the first chapter. I talk about a meeting with Billy Martin, who was a terrible drinker, and in my 20s and 30s, I was a very, very bad drinker. I was also an only child. A little pathos here, Bruce.
Sure, I got it. I'm crying right now.
Very lonely.
Yeah.
Terribly, terribly lonely. And much like Andy Kaufman in Man on the Moon, would sit and broadcast to the wall and pretend he was Jack Brickhouse or Vince Lloyd.
Wait a minute, that's what I did, Chet.
And you had 15 brothers and sisters.
No, seriously. I mean, I used to broadcast to the wall. Right, that's what we all did. So what happened with Billy Martin?
Well, Billy Martin had kicked dirt on umpire Terry Cooney in Toronto in 1981. And ironically, the A's, who Billy was managing at that time, were at Old Comiskey Park the next night. So I went out and just determined to get Billy Martin on the 620 Sports Live, and there was a gaggle of reporters trying to get Billy to talk, and he wouldn't say a word. So I had met Billy before, and I walked up and I said, Billy, if you'll come on with me, I promise no talk about Terry Cooney. I just want to talk about you. So Billy said, okay, what time? 6:20. Bruce, he came out. Amy, he came out. I'm not kidding you. I did something like, so Billy, what's new? And he went into a rant about Terry Cooney. It was just explosive. That, and if there's one that brings out a lot of passion in me, is Halloween night 1983 when I got the call from Sid Luckman from George Hallis's apartment over at 5555 Sheridan Road that Coach Hallis had passed away.
Oh.
I broke the story live on Channel 5.
Wow.
You remember when I worked at Channel 5 back in 1915?
Chet, please, you got to let things go about Channel 5. Now, me, I will never let it go.
He's wearing an NBC 5 jacket
right now,
now,
I will never let
Chet.
it go that they let me go at Channel 5, Chet. But you should let it go. But
no, I have let it go. I really have.
So have
it was
I.
a great run. I'm still trying to figure out why Channel 5 didn't want me, but instead wanted this handsome, charismatic, olive oil skinned Italian by the name of Martine Greco, who actually played the role of Johnny Fontaine in The Godfather.
He did. I'll never forget it. He was a damn good singer. He absolutely was.
All right, so the book, I read your first book, Chet Kopic, Laying It on the Line, and I'm looking forward to reading your current book. When's it going to be available? And how can we purchase
right now,
it?
Amy,
It's
through,
available now.
Yeah, it's available. Listen, I'll sell you a copy right here on the phone if you want.
Sure.
I'll give you the special Kopic discount. No, it's available not through Amazon, but through Eckhartz, ECKHARTZ Press.com. And the reason I do that is because Amazon rips off authors.
There we
Really?
go. There we go.
Do tell.
Yeah.
All right, Chet, good luck on number 68.
I want to hear about how Amazon rips off authors.
Oh.
No, we'll
Not the 68th home opener. May you have 68 more, Chet. And maybe the Bears will win one Super Bowl in that time. So, good luck.
I doubt it.
Yeah,
All right.
Me too.
Hey, guys, thank you so much for
Chet.
having me on. You're doing a wonderful job, and keep on rocking.
All right. Thank you. And good luck on your new book. And Chet Kopic joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Bears 31, the -7.
Yeah, really, -7.
God Stick, you'll find a way.
Bears,
Bears.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
If you're in the market for a new vehicle, then now's the time to get one. With the 2019s arriving, you'll find the lowest prices of the year on all our great new 2018s and certified pre-owned Ford models. Get $3,000 off Escapes and Edges and $3,500 off Explorers or 0% for 60 months. $2,000 off Fusion or 0% for 72 months and $4,000 off Focus or 0% for 60 months. And on select F-150s, get $2,500 off plus 0.9% for 60 months. Come in and see why we're Chicagoland's best Ford buying experience. We've been treating people like family for over 44 years. And for the 5th year running, we're again your favorite Ford dealer. Find out about all the exclusives that make a Ford from Joe Cotton Ford a better value. It's our promise to you. We'll treat you great and save you money. From 3 generations of our family to yours, you have our word on it. At Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com. Through October 1st, all prices plus tax, title, license, and dock fees with approved credit. See dealer for details.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 35-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. Without further ado.
Hi, I'm Patty Fritz, Precision Payroll's first employee. Yes, I'm real. I love working with my team and our clients and providing the best service and support. Hard to believe it's been that long. But when you love what you do, it's great. And I do love what we do at Precision Payroll. I didn't start for myself either.
That's right, Patty. I was there day one, and I'm still working with you today. Hi, I'm Jack Bishop, owner of Priority Logistics in Elk Grove, and Precision Payroll's first client. Yes, I'm real too. Precision Payroll has served us exceptionally for 35 years. We've grown together over the years, and I look forward to many more to come.
Jack and Patty, thank you both for making Precision Payroll of America a great company to do business with. To join our growing ranks of clients, visit us at precisionpayroll.com.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water. Like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
Looking to refinance your existing mortgage and want the lowest rates and lowest closing costs? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Other lenders boast about having low closing costs, which is like me saying I look good in a pair of 32-inch pants. Truth is, other lenders' closing costs are substantially higher than Team Hochberg's closing costs, and I haven't fit into a pair of 32-inch pants in over 40 years. Compare Team Hochberg's closing costs against any other lenders, and if our closing costs aren't lower, I'll donate to Veterans Roasters, an organization who hires homeless veterans to roast coffee, and an organization Team Hochberg already financially supports. When securing a mortgage, you can either work with a lender whose definition of low closing costs are over $1,000 higher than ours, or you can call Team Hochberg now at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago. And I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature. So we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, do you know this song, Bruce?
I do now.
Ain't no more tears left to cry. It's Ariana Grande. Okay, it wasn't that bad.
Oh, it was bad. I'm looking at the video. He's grabbing her around her breast. It's a side
so
boob
here's the
thing.
deal. The news is that Ariana Grande has declined to file a complaint after being touched involuntarily or accidentally by a bishop during the Aretha Franklin funeral. The Pops, no, I'm not going to. Detroit police were investigating because people called their tip line about inappropriate touching and
Oh, my
inappropriate
goodness.
contact.
He's got his fingers wrapped around her brassiere.
Yeah, but it's called the side boob. And when Bishop Charles Ellis was reaching for the side boob, he grazed her breast accidentally.
No, you don't go for that. You don't grab a woman that high up. There's a certain spot.
You know, she
that
was
you can-
asking for it because she had on a short dress.
Right, because otherwise you would have gotten her.
No, I did take offense to wearing a V-length mini skirt at a funeral.
You could see the reflection of her thighs in Bill Clinton's eyes.
Well, it was
as he was
so
sitting
weird because you
behind,
had
ogling.
Farrakhan there with his pants up to his breasts. I mean, he's got the grandpa pants on big time. So he's sitting there next to Al Sharpton, who clearly has had his stomach tied because he looks manorexic. Next to Reverend Jackson.
Oh, I thought that was Al
Next to
Roker.
Bill Clinton. Next to the bishop. And the bishop, not only did he side boob her, he made a reference about her heritage.
I've got to apologize because I have to brush up. My 28-year-old daughter tells me, "Dad, you are old at 60." When I saw Ariana Grande on the program, I thought that was something at Taco Bell. Girl, let me give you all your respect. Did y'all enjoy this icon? She's an icon herself. Come on.
Is the Aretha Franklin funeral still going on?
It was 8 hours, but, she did it her way. She wanted those people up on stage. She wanted Ariana Grande to sing, and Faith Hill sang too, but it was, she was the original diva, so that's how she ended it. But this police investigation is over. Detroit police said, we received some calls from citizens and saw social media posts, and therefore we had to investigate. And the problem, not the problem, but they had to decide whether or not she was a victim here and if she wanted to press charges, and she has decided not to press charges.
So Ariana Grande actually does have inappropriate touching here. She lets it go. But an event that occurred 35 years ago is going to be resurrected and going to knock out our nominee for the Supreme Court. And then verily I say unto you, if Brett Kavanaugh goes down, Amy Coney Barrett is going to rise up, and she's going to be the next Supreme Court justice, and Roe v. Wade will go down the tubes. Sorry, I got the bishop complex.
I see. Yeah. Thank you, Justin Kosek, our technical
Are
producer.
those the crickets reacting to 8 hours of funeral coverage?
Yes.
Is that what they are?
Coming up, Paul Manafort taking a plea deal. Is that a bad day for the Trump administration? We'll get the latest from Ken Starr, who has been in Mueller's shoes trying to get agreements from witnesses, and what was the offer. That at 8:08. And then later, Bernard Kerik, former New York PD commissioner, he'll be joining us. But first, let's get into the newsroom and catch up on everything from here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
Partly sunny skies will stay that way, but hot and humid by the afternoon. Recovery efforts underway this morning for a person in the water at Jackson Park Harbor turned into an off-duty captain of the Chicago Fire Department dying this morning in an apparent drowning. More details on that developing story. Opening statements set to begin today in the trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke, and a big ruling also expected out of that courtroom today. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
What happened 36 years ago is a big deal now. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. As Brett Kavanaugh's accuser claims the Supreme Court nominee sexually attacked her.
This woman should not be ignored and should not be insulted. She should be heard.
Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, tells Fox the Senate is working toward a reasonable approach days before the Judiciary Committee's scheduled vote.
Allowing this woman to be heard in sworn testimony, allowing Judge Kavanaugh to be heard in sworn testimony.
Now, Christine Blasey Ford's lawyer says Ford's willing to testify under oath.
Christine Blasey Ford says that back in high school, Kavanaugh assaulted her, telling the Washington Post, "I thought he might inadvertently kill me. He was trying to attack me and remove my clothing."
Fox's Doug Luzader. Kavanaugh denies it, saying he did not do this back in high school or at any time. Democrats want the vote delayed. They're searching for a baby in North Carolina, swept out of his mother's arms last night as she tried to drive across a flooded road in Union County.
I was holding his hand, trying to hold him, trying to pull him up.
But she says he let go and was swept away. Florence, now a tropical depression moving north, is blamed for killing 17 other people. Flooding extends far inland, also bad on the coast. Fox's Evan Brown live in Wilmington.
Now, Dave, roadways here continue to be the problem. Local streets may be drivable, but the ways in and out of this city, which is usually surrounded by rivers, are impassable.
We know that this is a very emotional time for many people, limited consumer goods, limited consumer fuel, and we just continue to ask for your patience.
Woody White is the local county commission chair. He says the Little River and the Cape Fear River could crest today, far above normal flood stage, and more evacuations might be called, Dave.
And a white Chicago police officer's murder trial is scheduled to start this morning in the shooting death of a black teenager 4 years ago. But Jason Van Dyke's attorneys are trying to get the judge to move the trial out of the city, citing extensive publicity. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Fair skies and 71 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An off-duty captain of the Chicago Fire Department died early this morning in an apparent drowning. Fire crews responded to a call of a person in the water around midnight at Jackson Park Harbor. Divers searched the water. A man's body recovered around 5 a.m. Chicago Fire Department later identified that person is 55-year-old Captain Daryl Moore. According to the fire department, Moore worked on Truck 40 in the Beverly neighborhood. No one hurt following a shooting on the Dan Ryan Expressway this early morning. A vehicle sustained damage after shots were fired in northbound lanes near 79th Street. The roadway was shut down for hours. Opening statements are set to begin later today in the trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke. Judge Vincent Gahn will swear in the full jury and also is expected to rule today on whether to move that trial out of Cook County. An elderly woman is dead after fire severely damaged a condo building near Des Plaines.
I would say the majority of the people living in this building won't be able to go in there.
Firefighters say the blaze broke out yesterday morning in the 9300 block of Landings Lane. Dozens were left homeless. The cause remains under investigation. Bears take on the Seahawks tonight in their home opener. Reds top the Cubs 2-1 at Wrigley Field. Orioles beat the White Sox 8-4. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network. Here is Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, trade tensions between the U.S. and China are expected to escalate this week. The Wall Street Journal says the administration is planning to unveil tariffs on an additional $200 billion worth of imports from China. U.S. trade talks are to resume later this month, but a senior Chinese official is quoted as saying China is not going to negotiate with a gun pointed to its head. Amazon wants to make it easier for you to buy from small businesses. The new section is called Amazon Storefronts, and it'll only list products sold by small and medium-sized businesses in the U.S. Starbucks is ready to deliver your coffee with Uber Eats. The test is starting in Miami-Dade and Broward counties in Florida. More than 100 Starbucks stores are participating. The Dow was up 8 on Friday. The Nasdaq lost 3. The S&P was flat. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
It's 8:04. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018, presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicagoland's retirement expert, on Saturday, October 27th. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Automated Systems Incorporated and by Health Insurance Mentors.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Do you know your bank's fraud tolerance? I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive. At Signature Bank, we have zero tolerance. While some of the big banks may write off smaller incidences of fraud, we use a multi-layered approach to fight fraud before it happens to our customers. There's been a record number of businesses hit with payments fraud this year. Keeping your business assets safe is our top priority. We are trained, and we will train you to recognize potential wire fraud threats and business email compromise scams. Call us today to find out how Signature Bank can work with your business to fight fraud.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-597-0315. That's 800-597-0315. 800-597-0315. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
8:07. Let's get a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Southbound Tri-State traffic is heavy. 21 to Atkinson, northbound jam, Southwest Highway to 31st and Roosevelt to Lawrence. But Adams Tollway delays. The Des Plaines Oasis to Tri-State. Reagan Tollway from the Fox River to Wiola. Also, there's a crash at 25 in the left lane. Veterans Memorial southbound Heavy Army Trail to 22nd. Northbound I-55 to Roosevelt. Southbound 53 roadwork delays are Randy Higgins. 8 and 22 minutes like Cook to Montrose. Kennedy, hour and 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, a bit quicker in the Express. Eisenhower, an hour and 8 minutes, 390 to the Circle. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 33 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, jammed Irving Park to North Avenue. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
And Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Near record-breaking high temperatures today. Very warm and humid with sunshine and patchy clouds, high 90. Clear, warm, and humid through the night. Tonight, low 70. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
71 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k rollover specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Amy Jacobson here. Bruce Wolf sitting in for Dan Proft on what has turned out to be a very busy day news-wise. Of course, the Kavanaugh bombshell. And on Friday, bombshell news that Trump's former campaign manager of 5 months, Paul Manafort, is now cooperating with Mueller and the Russian probe. And a man who has been in Mueller's shoes trying to get agreements from witnesses is none other than Ken Starr, and we are honored to have him here on our program. Good morning, Mr. Starr. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Thanks so much, Amy. Good to be with you.
Yeah, so what was the offer and the deal that Paul Manafort took?
It was to cooperate fully, and by virtue of that, he'll get a reduced sentence on the charges that were filed against him in Washington. Those are different charges than those he was convicted on last month in Alexandria. So Manafort was really in a very precarious, difficult situation. I predicted that he would, in fact, plead if he was guilty, and he did, in fact, plead to these crimes. And the significance of this is Bob Mueller now has, if it happens, the full cooperation of truthful testimony from Paul Manafort. And that's going to be so helpful in getting to the bottom of, was there Russian collusion? Thus far, there's been zero evidence of it, or was there not?
And here's the question. A lot of people were jumping for joy because they thought Manafort's going to flip on Trump. However, Andy McCarthy, you know Andy, of course, former federal prosecutor, writes for National Review and is on Fox. He has said and has written, he finds it hard to believe that Mueller sees Manafort as the key to making a case on Trump. When Mueller's had Richard Gates, Manafort's partner, as a cooperator for 6 months, and you have to figure Gates knows whatever Manafort knows about collusion. Yet since Gates began cooperating with the special counsel, Mueller has filed the charges against Russians that do not implicate Trump and has transferred those cases to other Justice Department components. I know you don't want to speculate too much, but do you think there's Manafort's going to be flipping on Trump?
I think Andy McCarthy's analysis is spot on. Andy is almost always, along with my former colleague Saul Weisenberg, who was on our team and was himself, as was Andy, a renowned federal prosecutor. Those two guys are almost always right. Nobody has a crystal ball, but it's really strong analysis for the reasons that Andy stated. So, yes, for whatever reason, and I think one thing that I think part of it is that people have not paid enough attention to the two indictments that Mueller did, in fact, bring against Russian individuals and Russian organizations for their skunk works in interfering with our election. Now, you read those two indictments, and guess what? There's not even a suggestion, not even a hint of collusion with the Trump campaign. In fact, to the contrary, one of the indictments has a very intriguing paragraph that just shows what the Russians were after was upsetting the election, upsetting the American people, getting us mad at one another. Because that one paragraph said on the very same day, these Russian thugs financed both a pro-Trump rally in New York and an anti-Trump rally in New York on the bloody same day. Yes. So the bad guys in this drama thus far are the Russians.
Now, a lot of people criticize Mueller. They say, this is an endless investigation, and it's not going in what its original raison d'etre was about. The same criticism was leveled at you.
Yes.
And you've written a book called Contempt. And, for example, there's this star prosecutor, Bruce Udolph, who told Slow Burn, a Slate podcast, that the Monica Lewinsky case should have been dead on arrival and it served no useful purpose. Your response to that?
Well, I like Bruce, but he's wrong. He was involved in the investigation and then left the investigation. He was the target of very vicious attacks from the Clinton White House. But I disagree, and frankly, everybody else on the team did, including people who were renowned federal prosecutors, two of whom had won the Justice Department's highest award. But the facts are the facts, and what I think the book is trying to show about this particular point is that was that part of the investigation, the Lewinsky phase of the investigation, was authorized by the Attorney General of the United States. So if it's dead on arrival, then it should have been pronounced dead on arrival by the Attorney General appointed by Bill Clinton. But she couldn't, as a matter of honor, as a matter of ethics, as a matter of law, turn a blind eye to the President of the United States committing perjury and obstruction of justice.
Wow. So the book, I think, proves that Bill and Hillary Clinton weren't victims of so-called vast right-wing conspiracy. Didn't they play fast and loose with the law and with facts and think that they were above the law?
Thank you, Amy. Absolutely. One of the things that I think the book demonstrates, and what I've said is I think any fair-minded person who reads the book will come away and saying, I don't know whether the president should have been impeached or whatever, but they will conclude that there were very reasonable grounds to believe, quite apart from the Lewinsky case and what happened in impeachment, is that both Bill and Hillary were more likely than not guilty of crimes in the Arkansas phase of the investigation, as well as perjury on Hillary's part. But there's a difference between, and every prosecutor will say this, there's a difference between what I know and what I can prove. And that's a great protection to the American people. We don't want prosecutors going into court unless they know in advance they're going to be able to win that case, right? Or they should be able because they've got the evidence. In Hillary's case, we had missing documents and we had missing witnesses. And you just can't overcome that. So we seriously considered indicting Hillary, or I should say presenting the indictment to a grand jury in Little Rock, but we felt that we did not have enough evidence, especially because of missing witnesses. We did not have the full cooperation of Webb Hubbell. We thought we were going to get more out of full cooperation from Jim Guy Tucker, who is our source. Here's another echo for the present day. Governor Jim Guy Tucker was our Paul Manafort. We convicted him in trial number one. He was indicted under a separate indictment for other crimes, and then he ended up pleading guilty. We think he was truthful with us in cooperating with us. However, what he had simply, again, was not sufficient to go to prove that Bill and Hillary were committing crimes in terms of the financing of the Whitewater deal.
Circling back to Manafort, Alan Dershowitz, civil libertarian, defense attorney, is always concerned about this, about guys who are looking for a deal, and that they have the pressure.
He said that he should have made a deal at the beginning.
Well, but
spared himself some time in jail.
But they have the pressure to compose, and so that he'll start making stuff up. I mean, what's your view on that?
Yeah, listen, I have the greatest respect for Alan. Alan looks at the world through the lens of a criminal defense lawyer and civil libertarian, as you said, Bruce. And I'll just say this. If the prosecutor is trying to get the witness, here Paul Manafort, to compose, then the prosecutor is a rogue, unethical prosecutor. And I don't think Bob Mueller is that. I think he's a truth guy. He's an honor guy. He's Semper Fi, a Marine Corps. Now, again, I've expressed concern about some of the people around Bob Mueller. But in terms of Mueller's judgment, I think he's going to give it his best honest shot, as opposed to, hey, let's see if we can get this guy to kind of frame the story and shape the narrative our way. What we used to say to witnesses is, hey, we can deal with the truth, whatever it is, whether it inculpates, exculpates, doesn't matter. We just want the truth. What we cannot deal with are lies.
And speaking of lies, the big news this morning is that Kavanaugh's alleged accuser has come forward and has, written a letter to Dianne Feinstein's office. Has now the FBI has it. They haven't moved on it yet. But what do you make of all of this? I mean, coming, on the 3 days before the Senate Judiciary Committee is supposed to take a vote.
Yeah, the process, of course, raises fundamental issues of fairness to the process. Why was this not brought forward by Senator Feinstein? Why did the person not come forward? But here's my basic point. I believe Brett Kavanaugh, because I've known him for many, many years, going back to 1994. I worked alongside him. He is a person of great integrity. He adamantly denies that this ever happened. And so it's going to be, and so does the other person who apparently was involved in this alleged episode. Likewise, I know of no corroboration of it. So I believe Brett Kavanaugh because I think he's a man of great honor. And I think the process of bringing this forth at the 11th hour plus raises very serious questions of fairness to the process.
Can I just try to argue with Ken Starr? It would be an honor to actually do that. Your Honor, you should have been on the Supreme Court yourself. Here's the problem is, I read the story, and there are problems with the story because she doesn't remember where and when it happened. And usually with a traumatic incident like that, you would remember a detail like that. But on the other hand, there does seem to be a plausibility. She didn't claim rape. She said, this is what happened and nothing more. The two guys were stumbling drunk. It's possible they don't even remember the incident because they were so drunk. I mean, there's a possibility it's more likely than not that she's telling the truth, even though she may have an agenda and Feinstein screwed the pooch on this and all that.
She might have the wrong prep school boys.
But I mean, she probably could identify him. I mean, don't you think it's a possibility that it's more likely than not she's telling the truth?
Well, anything is possible, but given the fact that Brett has, I'm sorry, I should call him Judge Kavanaugh, has denied it. But the other thing is, look at, and I don't want to get into the merits and how you weigh it. I'm not a United States Senator, but here is an alleged episode from high school.
I know.
High school,
I know.
And now it is decades later with this exemplary career. Here are all these high school young women from his high school days who've come forward with this letter.
Judge Starr,
65 of them. I like the letter.
But Judge Starr, you can always get people who weren't assaulted to testify to how good he is. We're talking about this particular incident. And I'm not saying I kind of agree. I agree with you. I mean, he was only 17 years old, but assuming
allegedly,
arguendo, as the lawyers say, that it's true. I mean,
it's a good word.
Well, there you go. I'm glad I taught you something right here.
He's been practicing
I don't
that
think
all
I did.
weekend.
Right, all my legal Latin. No, here's the thing. I mean, you've got to look at the four corners of what happened right here, and there is a plausibility to her story. And of course, even assuming it's true, yeah, cut him a break because he's had an exemplary life after that. But that's different from the actual story itself. No,
you should be judged from college and on. High school discretion.
The story
should not
itself.
be part of it.
I'm trying to get you to admit that the story is plausible.
Well, I'm not going to admit that. And the reason I'm not going to admit it is that I love this man who has served with such integrity for so many years in so many different positions, tough positions. He did not ever bend the rules during my long experience with him of several years, always upright. And so he said it did not happen.
So
wait.
So you admit that you're biased, isn't it true,
No,
Judge Starr?
just stop
You called
talking.
him Brett.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely biased. I want to exercise one of my peremptory challenges, and you're off.
So how long have you two known each other, and how close are you? I mean, have you talked to him about this? Because this must be traumatic on his family and his daughters. I mean, I feel awful for them.
It's just absolutely horrible. 6 full FBI investigations, many positions of honor and trust in the United States government, 6 over many years. And now this comes out 3 days. I know it popped up in July, but then the real concern I have, quite apart from, yes, I believe Brett Kavanaugh. I'll get a bumper sticker to that effect. If he denies it, I'm with Brett Kavanaugh because I know him. I don't know this person. She obviously has a record of professional accomplishment and so forth. But I want to know why at the 11th hour, 3 days before then it pops up. There's a fairness to the process that I think is just profoundly concerning to any fair-minded person, as opposed to someone who just says, "Oh, I don't care. It could have come out after the vote. They should reconsider the vote." No. In the law, hey, Bruce, no laughing.
This is serious.
I object to your objection to my laughing. Go ahead.
You're going.
I agree with you. I agree with you that So he was only 17 years old at the time, and he's led an exemplary life, and he should be on the court. I totally agree with you. I was just trying to look at the incident itself.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
I let you off the hook, Judge Starr.
Hey, we agree. He should be on the court.
Absolutely.
Yes, the book.
I'm with Ken Starr.
The book is Contempt, a memoir of the Clinton investigation. Ken Starr, an honor to have you on, and you're welcome back anytime.
Thanks, Amy. Thank you, Bruce.
And Ken Starr joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Are you going to allow the government to take your home? Mike S. in Naperville isn't.
At our earliest possible convenience, we're moving out of the state of Illinois.
Neither is Russell O. in Des Plaines.
I'm selling my home and going someplace that I can live without being taxed out of my property.
Illinois has the highest property taxes in the nation. It is a slow-motion government seizure of your home.
My investment in my home was a bad investment.
Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, you will not be spared the financial disaster the highest property taxes in the nation inflict. The good news is there's a group of independent candidates who aren't financed by Madigan or Rauner. They're working people taking up our fight to lower your property taxes. They made a life in Illinois, and the hell if they're going to let politicians take it away. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org for information on the candidates leading the revolt. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to hear your neighbors' stories and share your own. SaveYourHomeNow.org isn't just a website, it's a battle cry.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Turnkey IT knows that computer networks and all things IT are the vital heartbeat of any company. However, keeping up with hardware and software to hiring and managing IT staff can be costly and time-consuming, but there is a different solution. Now your business can have a full-time IT department for only $7.95 a month. That's what Turnkey IT's all-in small business package is for. You get world-class help desk, on-site and remote support, monitoring of network resources, 365 hosting, cloud backup, antivirus, and so much more. Plus, new hardware every 4 years. Hey, where can you hire a reliable and highly capable employee for less than $10,000 per year? You got to go with Turnkey IT. From one person to 200 employees, it's easy and affordable with Turnkey IT. You run your business, they'll handle the technical stuff. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I just wanted to keep you up to date on how things are progressing. So I'm getting Balance of Nature every month, maybe sometimes twice a month, from my friend who had MRI done, CAT scan last week. A very good friend of ours who's a teaching nurse, told me 2 years ago she's going to be gone within 6 months. I'm so happy that for Balance of Nature because anything else was just not doing it for her.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Being successful in business means overcoming enormous obstacles to serve your customers and community. AM 560, The Answer, wants to shine a spotlight on businesses that are thriving. We want to celebrate their success by finding out what makes these businesses unique, successful, and what we can learn from them. We want to know how you built it. Presented by Chicagoland Waterproofing. To tell us how you built it, go to 560theanswer.com/built. That's 560theanswer.com/BUILT. Sponsored by Signature Bank and Ozinga. AM 560, The Answer.
Wow, I think Ken Starr likes you. I
that
think
was
you guys are
fun.
going to start becoming
was
Twitter
fun.
friends.
Well, you know, when you can speak the legal Latin
then
with a
you-
guy.
then you got it in there.
Res ipsa loquitur. Yeah,
This
Ken
book is
Starr
good. Have you-
was fun.
I started reading it over the weekend. I only got to page 43, but I tried. And it's going to be a fascinating read. I'm going to finish this book. Dan always tells me I need to read more, which I
haven't read a
understand.
book in years. I can't
Seriously,
read more
you
than
haven't?
a tweet. I can't. I
can't read.
I even quit in the middle of a tweet. I'm like Vontae Davis. I can't even
What,
do
do
anything
you have
anymore.
ADD? Or-
What?
or-
I can't do it anymore.
I can't wait for the Bruce Wolf album, Starry, Starry, Decisive.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Ah, thank you, Van Gogh. Try
Yes.
the other ear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you. No, what was the last book you read?
I tried to read
say-
Infinite
don't s-
Jest.
don't
I
say
get
it
to-
was a pop-up book.
I read like 200 pages of every book, and then I quit.
Really?
Yeah, Infinite Jest. I tried to read. It's horrible. I can't read
If you made the
anything anymore.
commitment to read the 200 pages,
It's 1,000
why just-
pages. Forget about it. It has footnotes. It's ridiculous.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Bernard Carrick is going to be here from Ken Starr to him. It's great. He's a former NYPD commissioner. Maybe he has some tips for how we can curb and stop the homicides here in Chicago. And he also has a new book. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is, once again, Mike Scott.
Blue skies right now, 71 degrees, headed for a high near 90. In North Carolina, South Carolina, flash flooding, the problem. Florence, still a tropical depression roaring over parts of the western mid-Atlantic. The storm moving inland and blame for 17 deaths. Folks in North Carolina are worried about the flooding, as reporter Mark Mayfield has these details.
Reporter Mariana Atencio says rivers near Wilmington will take days to crest.
The Cape Fear River, it's expected to crest a Tuesday morning. There's nowhere for this water to go. The water behind me expected to crest on Friday.
Crews in North Carolina have already conducted hundreds of water rescues. Florence is now a tropical depression that's dumping rain on the Carolinas, Virginia, Tennessee, and Kentucky. At least 17 people have died since Florence made landfall last week. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
President Trump may be on his way to areas impacted by Hurricane Florence. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says this morning the president's visit will happen once it is determined his travel will not be disruptive. The lawyer for the woman accusing Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct says her client would be willing to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee. A Kansas sheriff's deputy has been killed in the line of duty. Sedgwick County Deputy Robert Kunze III was responding to a suspicious persons report when he confronted a suspect and then exchanged gunfire. The suspect died at the scene. The 41-year-old Kunze was pronounced dead at a nearby Wichita area hospital. An off-duty captain of the Chicago Fire Department died early this morning in an apparent drowning. Man's body was recovered around 5 a.m., Chicago Fire Department identifying him as 55-year-old Captain Darrell Moore. According to the fire department, Moore worked on truck number 40 in the Beverly neighborhood. Opening statements set to begin in the trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke, charged with murder in the deadly shooting of Laquan McDonald in 2014. We also expect today Judge Vincent Gahn to rule on a motion whether to move that trial out of Cook County. Politically, Bill Daley will officially launch his bid for mayor of Chicago. Former White House chief of staff is seeking the office once held by his brother and father. Bears and Seahawks tonight. While the Reds topped the Cubs yesterday 2-1, and the Orioles beat the White Sox 8-4. The news service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager doesn't see the recognition of Trump's accomplishments.
The left blew it. Donald Trump has achieved a tremendous amount. Since 1969, this is the lowest number of people filing for unemployment insurance. Do you realize what the headlines would be if this was Hillary Clinton or any Democrat? It would be banner headlines. It's ignored.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Cutting taxes, appointing conservative justices, and strengthening our military. Donald Trump is working to make America great again, but he can't do it alone. President Trump needs allies in the Senate. Joe Donnelly voted against our tax cuts, and he votes against Trump's policies almost 60% of the time. President Trump needs Mike Braun.
This election is about safety, and this election is about jobs. Democrats want to open borders. Democrats want to raise your taxes. We need Republicans in Congress. We want people like Mike Braun. He's a special man, and he is going to be a truly great senator.
Vote for Mike Braun for U.S. Senate. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
What if you could enjoy total peace of mind when it comes to home security? What if the best technology came from a local company who puts the customer's needs first? Alarm Detection Systems is the right choice for an alarm system with complete control from your phone or tablet. Know when your children arrive home from school. View live streaming video. Check up on your pets. Receive alerts for extreme temperatures. Know if leaks or floods have been detected. Get real-time text alerts sent to your phone. Family-owned and operated since 1968, Alarm Detection Systems understands that nothing is more important than the safety of your family. Your security system will be monitored by our central station in Aurora, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Our on-site security consultation is always free. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6322. That's 630-844-6322. Alarm license number 127000143.
It is 8:35. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Southbound 53, traffic is stop and go Dundee to Lake Cook where there's a crash. Then it's heavy Rand Higgins due to construction. Southbound Veterans Memorial delays are from Army Trail to 22nd, northbound I-55 to Roosevelt. Tri-State southbound I-21 to Atkinson, northbound jam, southwest highway to 31st, Roosevelt to Lawrence. Eastbound Adams Tollway has delays. This Plains Oasis to Tri-State, Reagan Tollway, Farnsworth to Naperville. Eden's 22 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction. Kennedy, hour and 20 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Mount Eisenhower, an hour and 12 minutes, 390 to the circle. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive delays are from Wilson to North Avenue. That's traffic. I'm Chip Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny, humid. Temperatures will soar near 90 this afternoon. Clear and warm and humid overnight. Low 70 and a thunderstorm on the schedule for tomorrow afternoon. High 84. Currently 71. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the truth of the foreclosure crisis. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Amy Jacobson here. Bruce Wolf in for Dan Proft on this busy Monday morning. We've talked about Kavanaugh. We've talked about Manafort and the big announcement today that Bill Daley is going to be throwing his hat into the ring for mayor of Chicago, as if we haven't suffered through enough Daleys. You know, Hey, turn on
if
your
he
mic.
throws his hat into the ring, it'll show his bald spot. I don't think he wants to do that.
So bad.
He should wear a fedora.
Yeah, so that announcement will be coming later today. I can't wait to hear reporters' questions asking him why he waited until Mayor Emanuel dropped out of the race. But somebody else running for mayor is former police superintendent Gary McCarthy, who was fired by Rahm Emanuel and has now decided to try and take Mayor Emanuel's job. And joining us on our Turnkey.pro answer line is Bernard Carrick, who is the former NYPD commissioner. He's now the author of a new book, The Grave Above the Grave. Good morning, Mr. Carrick. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. So I'm putting you on the spot here. Do you know Gary McCarthy? Because he used to work in New Jersey and I believe in New York.
Yeah, he actually used to work for me, and he was at one time my son's boss because my son worked in Newark as a cop. So I know him pretty well.
All right. So are you supporting him for mayor of Chicago?
I would support him for mayor of Chicago. I think, if anybody knows what has to be done in Chicago, it's him. Look, Chicago has a number of problems. Besides crime, the poverty, the socioeconomic stuff, the racial divide, all this stuff, the guns, the violence. Listen, at the end of the day, none of the poverty stuff, none of the community cleanup is ever going to happen if you don't reduce crime. And I know that because New York City was 4 times as bad pre-Giuliani. And nobody's going to come to Chicago and build businesses, open businesses, create jobs, create new housing. Nobody's going to do any of that if they don't feel safe. And so the key number one thing for Chicago has to be reducing violent crime and murder. You reduce the crime. For every percentage point we reduced crime in New York City, I could show you increases in economic development, real estate value, tourism, less welfare rolls. The crime is going to be the answer to fixing Chicago, reducing crime, and nobody knows that better than Gary.
Well, what about the broken windows policy? To explain to people what the broken windows policy is?
The broken windows policy is basically addressing crime in your communities from bottom up, top down. In other words, everything counts. In New York City, we had people paying $5-6 million for a brownstone at Lower Manhattan and would have to wake up in the morning to graffiti, people urinating on the sidewalk, you name it. And nobody ever touched these people. Nobody did anything to them. Nobody held them accountable until Giuliani came in. And Giuliani said, look, you want a society that respects law. You want a society that's clean. You got to clean this stuff up. And that's what we did. And like I said, Chicago's no different. Chicago could be a major booming city in this country, should be, but you're never going to get there. It's never going to change if you do not reduce crime and the violent crime and the guns and the murder. It's never going to change.
Now, here's the thing. I couldn't agree with you more on broken windows, and I think Gary McCarthy was a good police superintendent. The problem is that he sided with the union in the aftermath of the Laquan McDonald shooting, and the trial is just starting right now in Chicago.
Today,
opening statements. And, he I don't see where he'd get the support because Rahm Emanuel did throw him under the bus, and now Emanuel's under the bus as well. But it just seems like an insurmountable thing for him to deal with because he just sided with the union story, and the video contradicts that.
Yeah, you know what, guys? I don't know all the politics of Chicago, but here's what I do know. The people of Chicago, the voters, they have to make up their mind. Do they want a cleaner, safer community, or don't they? If they do, if they want economic growth, if they want better real estate value, if they want tourism, if they want to live in a society that's a better society, you have to clean up the crime. You got to reduce it. And out of the mayoral candidates that I've seen, and I don't know them all, Gary McCarthy knows how to do that. He did it for me. He did it with me. He did it for Newark, or at least he tried. He had a mayor that wasn't too cooperative. But listen, they have to make up their mind.
What I liked about Gary McCarthy when he was superintendent, he was out there. When NATO was here, he was out there with his men mandying the front lines, not just calling the shots from, an office 5 miles away. So I give him kudos for that. Anytime there was a large event, he was on the ground with, his troops, so to speak. Your new book, The Grave Above the Grave, tell us about that.
It's my first novel. I've had 2 prior bio type books that did extremely well. I figured I'd throw my hat in the ring for fiction. I've got my time as police commissioner of New York, counterterrorism measures. I was in command of the NYPD during 9/11, but I also worked in Saudi Arabia for 4 years. I worked for the King of Jordan for 5 years. I've been around the threats that we face in this country against radical Islamic movements for many, many years, and I put that into a fiction.
Now, I'm fascinated because, as I was talking before the break, I have a hard enough time reading fiction, let alone writing it. And you've written books before, but I mean, I'm dumbfounded. I'm amazed. How do you, be this professional and a very successful one in one area of life, and then all of a sudden you're, the next Hemingway? I mean, this is pretty darn good. It's not fair. It's not fair.
It's funny. I've had this conversation with friends, and they said, it has to be easy to do. You just make up a bunch of stuff, and I have to tell you, it's not easy at all. Writing fiction is extremely difficult because you have to keep things in context. You have to keep things together. You write a description of a character or something about a character, and 5 chapters in, you want to re-talk about that character. I forget what color hair he had. What did he look like? Where did he come from? Where did he go to school? And eventually constantly going back, rewriting things because you forgot, Yeah. So it's not easy, but the book has gotten really rave reviews, and I'm pretty surprised, but it's come out pretty well.
Now, because whenever I try to write my novel, I get it was a dark and stormy night. That's my first line, and then I can't get past it. And so I just don't know how you even get to the ultimate chapter where you're trying to remember what color the guy's hair was. So, kudos to you on that. I mean, that's amazing.
Thank you.
All right. And then is your book on Amazon? Can we?
So it's on Amazon. It's on, Barnes & Noble. It's all the major bookstores. And most importantly, you can get it online. Amazon Prime.
Okay. And then on the 17th anniversary, can you believe it's already been 17 years? Just last week. And what do you do to memorialize those who died and to appreciate and remember those who were the first responders?
Most importantly, I reach out to the people that work for me on that day, the people that responded. Mayor Giuliani and I actually have a dinner on the night of that night, September 11th, every year. And everyone that was in our administration and actually with us, with me, during the attack, because the mayor and I was actually trapped inside 75 Barclay Street when the second tower imploded. I was on the street, in the middle of the street, when the second plane, when the north side of the tower blew out of the second tower. I was under it. So a couple times there, we had some close calls during that day. So we get together with all of the people that worked with us and for us and try to reflect on that day. And most importantly, here's the one thing I'd like your listeners to understand. On that day, men and women in the New York City Police, the Fire Department, and the Port Authority Police effected the greatest rescue mission in the history of our country by taking 20 to 25,000 people out of those buildings in the surrounding area. But more importantly, they evacuated more than 1 million people out of southern Manhattan into the 4 boroughs and into New Jersey with the help of the New Jersey State Police.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much, Bernard Kerik. We really appreciate you coming on the program. The new book is The Grave Above the Grave, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. We all know increasing revenue's tough, but did you know that 100% of main sources of income fail? The odds are 100% that your current main source of income will someday no longer exist. 439 of 1955's original Fortune 500 are no longer around, yet their industries and even their product lines still thrive. What happened to these companies? Simple. They didn't believe that 100% of main sources of income fail. They never added a second revenue model. For years, my friends at Income Store have helped both households and businesses build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Ryan Siebert, CEO of SG Home Builders and a customer of Signature Bank. Over the last 10 years, my business pivoted multiple times to adjust to the fluctuations in the Chicago real estate market. Signature Bank's partnership with us and their ability to adapt to changes has allowed us to become a leading custom home builder. Signature Bank is a relationship-based business bank right here in Chicago, providing services and advice that address our unique situation, and they serve as a trusted consultant on what works best for my business. Signature Bank helped us build SG Home Builders while we were busy building dream homes for our clients.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago, and I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature, so we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
If you have a new or existing business, understanding building and zoning codes, obtaining permits, licenses, and inspections can be a time-consuming nightmare. Well, I got a guy. I should say a fine company. Premier Consulting Group, and my friend Bill Gritsonis is the company to call. From city and suburban retail business to residential and high-rise building permits, PCG holds your hand from the beginning to the very end. Bill and his veteran team have decades of experience and a commitment to meeting client needs. Your business will benefit from expedited permits and the peace of mind knowing that your business is in complete compliance. So I highly suggest you call my guy, Bill Gritsonis, and his team at Premier Consulting Group before your next project. Call Bill Gritsonis at 312-263-4599 or visit PCGconsultinginc.com. That number, 312-263-4599, or online at PCGconsultinginc.com. Call Bill Gritsonis at 312-263-4599 or visit PCGconsultinginc.com.
Have you ever dreamed of going to Bible college or being trained for ministry? Have you been looking for a college that balances grace and faith? Well, Charis Bible College has over 60 locations worldwide that will prepare you to step into the purpose and calling that God has for you. A journey begins with a first step. Go to charisbiblecollege.org. That's Charis, C-H-A-R-I-S. Or call 844-360-9577 and find out why thousands of students go to Charis. Choose from their main campus in beautiful Woodland Park, Colorado, or a branch campus. There are also correspondence and online options. Multiple start dates are available throughout the year. Check them out at charisbiblecollege.org or call 844-360-9577. That's charisbiblecollege.org or call 844-360-9577. charisbiblecollege.org. Your journey starts here.
Wow, what a difference. I feel like I live in a brand new home, and it's all thanks to CertaPro Painters. Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and while we are on our trip, I gave CertaPro painters a key to my house. They came in, painted the living room, master bedroom, and it is impressive. Nothing like a fresh coat of paint to change the vibe of your house. CertaPro painters are trustworthy. Obviously, I gave them a key to my house. They're professional, talented, and they clean up their mess. It's as if they were never there. And now that summer is here, you're going to want to hire CertaPro painters too. You know, family and friends will be over for outdoor entertainment, and you want your house to look its best. Get your porch painted or stained. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. Once again, get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Come on, you know the song.
I fell asleep during Caddyshack.
What is wrong
We
with
went
you?
to the see Caddyshack. I must have worked hard that day or something. Fell asleep in the middle of it. Now, I'm always embarrassed to say that because it's a classic.
How could you fall asleep in?
So I got that going for me.
Caddyshack, too, I could see you falling asleep in.
Sure.
But Caddyshack? Really?
Yeah.
Guess what movie I fell asleep in?
Godfather?
No, I've never seen Godfather.
You've never seen Godfather.
I know. I'm Amish. I fell asleep during the movie Snatch. Last thing I remember is the dog squeaking. He swallowed a toy.
I don't remember
a squeak
Snatch.
toy. It was awful. Did anybody fall asleep in Snatch? 312-642-5600. I know Brad Pitt was in it. It was some, I don't know,
I
group of bandits who were stealing something from somebody.
Touch that with a 10-foot pole. Okay. Hi-yo. Hi-yo.
During Snatch.
Hey, my day is made when I can get Amy to snort. But I bet you do that all the time with Dan.
So I found out that you went golfing with my father.
That's right.
Why are you golfing with my dad?
Because it's there. It's like what Sir Edmund Hillary said about Mount Everest. I played golf with your dad, Harvey.
Yes.
And we played, let's see, at the Arboretum course in Buffalo Grove.
He's
And
there every morning.
He was so kind. Well, they know him there. First of all, I paid for my round. Okay.
You paid for
He paid for my
round?
round.
Oh, my dad paid for your golf?
Secondly, he fishes out golf balls from the, because it's a water-laden course, so there's lots of golf balls in there. He had fished out 2 bags of balls, like about 15 in one and about 30 in the other. And some of them were in pristine condition.
Yeah.
So they were great. So I didn't have to buy any golf balls this summer.
Oh.
And some of them, had marks on them, but he separated them into different bags for me. These are the
He's
ones
not
that you
anal
can use.
retentive or anything.
I
no.
mean, it was just wonderful. And then he gave me a massage.
No, he didn't.
Okay, that much he stopped.
Well, how did you play? And how is he?
I wasn't
know
that
he's
good. He's a very good golfer.
Oh, he's very consistent.
He wants to get it moving. Reminds me a little of Ditka. Ditka plays golf like polo. Let's move it on, pal. You know how Ditka's saying, "Take me out to the ball game."
Yeah.
And,
take me out to the ball game.
yeah,
take me
yeah,
out.
right.
Yeah, let's get this going.
12 seconds.
We should have a foursome.
Sure.
Me, you, my dad, and Dan Proft. Wouldn't that be great?
Well, I played golf with Dan Proft, and I got a hole-in-one when I played with Dan.
It's so awesome.
I mean,
That
he
is
had to suffer and smile and congratulate me for a hole-in-one. But he is a far superior golfer to me.
Well, I don't. you
Dan
said
is
his-
much. I play old man golf, hit it right down the middle. Dan can hit it all over the place and still birdie a par 5. So
Do you think? I don't know. I played golf with him a few times. He's not. He's good, but then if he's off,
surprised he deigned to play
if
with a
he's
lady.
off. He's off. I mean, he hits it to the
Well,
right,
he
and
swings at about 195 miles an hour.
I mean, if it's going to the right, it'll be not the fairway next to it, but the fairway next to
Well,
that.
he disheartened me one time because it was a
Why?
par 5. I hit it straight down the middle. I wound up getting a par. He's like playing on the next hole through the entire time, but he gets a par as well because he managed to make a long putt, and that just broke my spirit.
Oh my!
That man broke my spirit a lot of times. But God bless him.
You're gonna be.
Will he be
okay.
back tomorrow to talk to David French about the Brett Kavanaugh
Yes, he will.
matter? That
Yes.
sounds like a good interview.
I know you love David French.
I
You're a big
like
fan.
Andy McCarthy more.
You do. Okay,
Oh, Andy McCarthy's my big guy.
that's good.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
there
But
you
yeah,
go.
well,
and your dad was a wonderful golfer, wonderful host. So let's
Good.
all get together.
All right, so over the weekend, Hurricane Florence, it was a cruel crawl. I mean, it has been raining there. Hundreds of people had to be rescued. 100 more still need to be rescued. Unfortunately, 18 people have passed away so far from the storm. But one thing that happened on the Weather Channel, I don't know if you saw this, Mike Seidel, I'm a name assassinator. He braved the elements.
Okay, picking it up here in Wilmington, North Carolina, right at the Intracoastal, and we're in one of these bands. This is about as nasty as it's been. We had some bands like this last night, and then the eye wall this morning, we were not on TV. It was a dark and raucous night at the hotel.
And so he seems to be getting blown away by the hurricane.
It's like Marcel Marceau in the wind.
Yeah, he's got one leg forward. He's lunging forward. He's holding on for dear life. Walking back, staggering, like, I'm in the eye of the storm.
Except right behind him.
What was behind him, Bruce?
Two guys are walking, sashaying, strolling down the street like it's nothing. So I don't know. The juxtaposition was arresting.
Well, it was just so funny because they strolled behind him like, hey, where are we going for lunch? What do you want to do? But the Weather Channel says it's important to note that the two individuals in the background are walking on concrete. Mike Seidel is trying to maintain his footing on wet grass.
And you're walking on sunshine, if you believe that story.
I've been walking on sunshine with you here. Bruce, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For filling in Monday and Friday. We're going to work on our Christmas song.
Absolutely.
For the week before Christmas. Let's now go into the newsroom and get the latest on what's going on in D.C. Here is Mike Scott.
Fox will have the very latest on Hurricane